Um, what we're doing? Oh, we're doing a podcast. Yes. I swear I have notes. I don't
Okay,
actually.
I have quite a few notes on Lord of War, but not as many on Lost in not any like barely any at all on Lost in Translation.
Okay. Yeah, both of these films, I guess, enwrapped in them. I don't know. Because I started watching and then I forgot to take notes. So that's what happened to me.
Well, Lost in Translation is actually one of my favorites.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on,
yeah,
hold
no,
on,
we can't.
hold on. Hold on.
We'll just cut that part in later.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll probably just, stick the little bit at the beginning because I do
Mhm.
that every once in a while and then do whatever. And yes, it's fine. But I'm like, I don't want to get too far into this before we start officially.
Yeah,
talking.
no, I assume that when we're done, it'll be dark.
Yes.
And
yes. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Let me just start before I say anything else, or else I'm going to get into discussion. This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James, and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are, well, off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Josh Ratcliffe joins me in talking about two moody films from the early 2000s with Lord of War and Lost in Translation. Welcome!
hey, thanks for having me back.
Yes, I think these are two perfect movies for you to show me up on your cinematic knowledge. So I'm probably going to be quiet most of the time as you pontificate about how scenes work. And I'm kind of okay with it because I did not take that many notes.
Okay.
Because watching both of these movies, I was just like, it starts off pretty well. I'm sitting there watching, and then I just get lost in the story, and then the movie's finished, and I was like, shit. Okay. So there we go.
Well, I mean, on the note of me just going off, I actually didn't want to do the Lord of the Rings episode because I didn't have 9 hours to spare.
Okay.
Yes. Because, I think we talked about Kill Bill for 3.
Yes.
3
yes,
plus. So, man, Lord of the Rings, we go longer than the movie. So, if we talk about Lord of the Rings, it's going to go on. And I don't even know that much about Lord of the Rings.
To be honest, I think the final episode ended up being 2 hours and 48 minutes, which is shorter than the theatrical release of the first movie.
There you go.
So that was a pretty short episode for that one.
You hit the finish line.
We did. So I was kind of shocked at that aspect of it. And I just bitched the whole time that I spent an additional 12 hours watching these movies. And then I had to talk about it, and then I had to edit it, and I was just like, holy shit, I'm never doing Lord of the Rings ever again. That's it. So I'm surprised.
Well, I'll just put away all my Lord of the Rings notes.
This is where you were wrong on that episode. I'm like, the ends are cool and they're like this because of this reason. I'm like, they suck. Get over it. Fine.
No, anyways. I took a few notes on Lord of War. I know Lost in Translation very well. It's actually one of my favorite movies ever. Although it has some problematic areas that I'm sure we will discuss when the time comes. Example? Yes, that is one of them. Ages, races, all that fun stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to get right into it because Lord of War, okay, let me start this again. Last weekend, I watched the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and it is one of those movies where you're sitting there thinking to yourself, why is this the greatest movie ever made? But also, why is it such garbage at the same time, right? And that explains all of Nicolas Cage's career, his whole career. And in 2005, he released both the movies Lord of War and Weatherman, which to me are two of his best films. because they are just great on two very different levels. Like they're weird and they're interesting and they're good character studies and they're great backgrounds and all of that kind of stuff. But the problem with Lord of War is that it destroys your soul, but it's about him losing his soul pretty much. And yeah, I don't know. The movie he did before this was National Treasure. Like, what? You know?
Okay, here's the thing. I actually really like National Treasure.
Oh, God.
It's really stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But like what if Indiana Jones didn't have a passport?
Yes. Yeah.
We couldn't get a world map. We'll just have the US map and he'll like just have the plane go around there.
Exactly. He's like, I need to go to other countries to do archaeology things. You're crazy.
That movie is a brilliant cacophony of dumb. Isn't Jon Voight his dad too?
Yes, which is weird because he also played the dad in Tomb Raider, which he is actually Angelina's dad. But I was just like, that. I was like, pick a weird archaeology like action person to be father of. Just pick one. Just one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's also basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I have to admit, starting watching Lord of War is one of those movies that I will praise and say very good things about, but it's not a movie I like to watch.
Well, I mean, I think it runs into some similar problems that Lost in Translation does with race. The portrayal of Africa is quite troubling in this movie. I found this is the first time I've seen it. I had never seen it before.
What? You'd never seen Lord of War? Okay. I'd
never seen it before. I was a virgin watch on this one.
Okay.
I'm
very excited to hear what you have to say then. Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, there was a couple bumps. Who is Jared Leto though? Like I'm aware of him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I know him as the guy from Requiem for a Dream.
Mm-hmm.
It seems odd that he's had such a career after that. Okay. Of being these kind of like in these mainstream movies. And in this one, he's kind of doing the same thing as Requiem, right?
On a very PC level, he's doing it, surprisingly. Because Requiem for a Dream is so in depth into the whole like drug thing. Mm-hmm. But the reason the drug thing happens in this movie is for a quote unquote, I don't know, I can't call it a good reason, but it's because he is having a problem with his moral compass and he is trying to find a way to justify what he's doing, and the drugs help him do that. Right. So as soon as he gets off the drugs, spoiler alert, he does the right thing and gets himself killed.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it is.
I found this movie to be rather wild. It was a crazy movie. Mm-hmm. Starting with the fact that I believe a 40-some-year-old Nicolas Cage plays himself as like a 20-year-old baby. Yeah. Like at the beginning of the movie, like he never changes ages, and this movie takes place over 25 years.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they did the classic thing when he's young, his hair is combed forward, so he's like pseudo man bangs, and then later on it's combed back, so he's an adult now. So
well, what's funny is like I also saw his new one. Mm-hmm. And a spoiler, he talks to himself as a younger person in that movie. Bigger
spoiler, he makes out with himself, his younger self in the movie, which is one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life. Yeah,
but like in my head, I was kind of like, I really want them to do the weird face replacing thing in this movie, even though that technology did not exist in 2005. Yeah, I'm like, why didn't they get the old Nicolas Cage to do it?
Oh, it would have been amazing. But I loved it. Anyways, yes. Yes.
I was gonna say Nick Cage is sort of a genre, right? Like
he is.
And he does go pretty big a couple times in here. Not as big as he goes in like the one like Vampire's Kiss or Bring Out the Dead. Or anything like that. Yeah.
Or Bad Lieutenant.
Oh, Bad Lieutenant 2, Port of Call, New Orleans. Yes.
Yes.
The Iguana Cam.
God. I must admit, I've only seen clips of that movie, and I cannot bring myself to watch that whole movie because I don't.
I saw that at the Toronto International Film Festival, with the director present.
Oh wow,
it was amazing.
I believe it.
His quote was about directing Nicolas Cage. He said, "Sometimes I said, just let the hog loose."
I believe it. I believe all of that. Yes. I don't think you have to tell Nicolas Cage to do much and he'll just go nuts.
I've actually heard that he's incredible on set. Like he's a consummate professional. He'll work really hard with the directors and do exactly what they want him to do in a different way than he's done before, and is just great to be around, apparently. That's
good to know. He's not an asshole. That's always good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that from the directors of Ghost Rider 2.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm glad you heard it from someone directly who was involved in a work of, let's put quotes around this, art.
Johnny Blaze goes nuts in that, though.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I've only seen maybe 20 minutes of Ghost Rider altogether. Again, another movie that I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, it's too far. Like, and it's not cheesy in a good way. It's just bad. Like, it's just bad. Like,
knowing that's a Nicolas Cage one, right?
Yes.
That one's nuts. I love that one. Is the one I love. That's nuts.
Oh, really?
It goes real crazy.
Okay, I disagree, but all right.
It's awful. It's completely terrible. 100%.
Like when both of us say any Nick Cage movie is crazy, that doesn't mean it's good. No. That's not what we're getting at. I think the best review of a Nick Cage movie I've ever read was for Bangkok Dangerous, and the review said, "Fuck you." And that was it. That was the whole review. And I was like, this is the greatest review I've ever seen. I will never watch this movie, but that is the greatest review I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, we're going to go off on a tangent already. There's a music review website that Pitchfork, which it's quite big now. But when I used to read it about 15, 20 years ago, they were super snarky, and it was great. The best one is, you remember that band Jet?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, they're sort of like they have songs that sound a lot like their big one sounds a lot like Lust for Life, like the Iggy Pop song.
Iggy Pop, okay.
Like they sort of like stole a bunch of stuff from a bunch of people. But every time they would put up every time Pitchfork would review them, it would not even be a review. One of them was like a fake conversation between the band and their tour manager, and asking why the fans keep booing them.
Okay. Yeah.
And then another one for the follow-up album was just a YouTube video that when you clicked on it, it was a monkey peeing into its own mouth. It's the only thing, the only part of the review. That's it. You just open it up. That's it.
I mean, that's equivalent to "fuck you." So
yeah, pretty much.
I get it. Yeah.
Yep.
But I think, especially with music, I think music is even more subjective than film or writing. Like, listening to it, because it's more about, like, it's not just the words or the beat. It's how it makes you feel, and if it makes you feel good, you like it. Or if you hear the lyrics and even though the music is bad, like the actual like instruments and sound is bad, if the lyrics are great and you just get into it, then you're like, this is good music to you. I am not defending Jets, though. That is not what I'm doing right now. All I'm saying is I think music is much more subjective than film or some other arts.
Sure. I mean, that's part of why they were so fun to be so snarky. Like, who cares? I think they gave a 0.1 or something to like a Sonic Youth album.
Oh my God.
And then I think I read something like with the guy that wrote the review later. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was just in a bad mood. I like that album now." Yeah, no, it's just like they sort of knew how dumb everything was. Like, it was sort of based on how stupid the whole thing is.
Yeah.
But they became like a giant mega corporate. They're owned by Condé Nast now. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Somebody got some money out of that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Schreiber did.
Yeah. Hopefully that happens him to me blast. One day.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Okay. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back. All right. Yes. I find this movie, actually the next movie too, is going to be very tangent heavy simply because I have lots of stories, especially about Lost in Translation. But Lord of War, there's just so much stuff, especially about the time period and also about what's actually like politically going on right now. It seemed very relevant as well as I was watching it. And
well, I was looking at where the Donbass region was in the map of Ukraine made out of cocaine.
Yeah.
It's going, did he include the Donbass or no?
I'm very happy and bad at geography.
What's Hawke doing today? Yeah.
I know. As soon as he's like, we're Ukrainian, I'm like, ooh, political. But also they were talking about them leaving all their equipment in the USSR and stuff as the wall fell. And I was like, didn't they just do that in Afghanistan? Yeah, they left $7 billion worth of weapons over there. Weapons, vehicles, and surveillance equipment. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I did find the stuff about like gun trade to be actually kind of interesting because I think that it is probably pretty close to what really happens just because it's so like chaotic. You know, like it feels like that's probably really how it goes, where it's just like, yeah, no one really knows how any of this stuff works, and people are able to exploit the system really easily.
Yeah, because nobody, after it's like made and shipped out, surprisingly, nobody's keeping track of these things that are destructive. And they also mentioned in there that like the dangerous thing is really the guns, whereas people pay attention to like the big things, like the nuclear weapons and that kind of arsenal, whereas most of those don't ever do anything. They're just in a hole and nobody's beside a button. Whereas a gun, everybody's got a gun and everybody's shooting everybody. So
yeah, what was the statistic that it used, that it was like 1 in every 4 people in the world or something has a gun?
Yeah,
or there's enough guns for 1 in 4 people.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I know anybody that owns a gun. I do not own a gun.
Yeah, but like you may not own a gun, and like 10 people you know may not own a gun, but there's some guy in a shack somewhere that has like 85 guns, so it balances out.
Yeah, no, I saw them on the news on January 6th.
Yes, we saw many of them.
It was those guys.
Those guys were scary.
I don't know how they were all wearing camo. I don't know how I picked up on them being there.
They're like, what are these cops scared of? There's nobody there.
Yeah, why are there so many trees entering the Capitol?
Yeah, it's the Ents from Lord of the Rings. Again, okay.
It would have been a lot slower.
That's true.
It would have taken them a lot longer to get in.
They'd probably still be discussing which door they have to walk in or something. Yeah.
Was it something like it to say one word in Ent language? It takes like 40 minutes or something. Isn't there like some?
Yeah.
Something. And I didn't even watch these. I didn't even watch them for this.
No, I'm glad you didn't. Please don't. You don't have to. It's fine. Yep. I am surprised I haven't gotten any hate mail as yet, or maybe I just haven't checked my email for it yet. We'll see. It's fine. Anyways, besides the Ents taking over the Capitol, I know. Well, okay. So this was your first viewing of this movie. Like, did you like it?
I wasn't huge on it. I'll say. I got a little bit bogged down in maybe some of the minutia. I also was kind of thinking as I was watching it, I think I would have preferred it if it was more episodic than it was.
Yeah.
Because it is quite episodic to start. Like it jumps forward in time several times. And I kind of want them to have almost no through line. Like I wanted each part to just be like one event. There was parts that I liked. I thought the stuff with the boat was fun. The stuff at the beginning where they had to change the name of the boat. I thought that was fun and silly.
Yeah, I have a note on that too.
But like a lot of them were kind of silly characters, like the Interpol agent Jack Valentine.
Yes.
And I wrote down that it sounds like a Resident Evil character.
Really, Resident Evil? What was I thinking of?
Well, Jill Valentine's a character in Resident Evil.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That was very close to that. It's her brother, I guess, chasing down.
See, I was thinking it was like the English version of a name of a character in an anime.
Okay. Yeah, nope, that works too.
That works too.
It's one of those games that's like so masculine somehow.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like the name is punching you in the face.
Yes. It's like a lot,
Yeah.
just like, look at me.
And he's a terrible cop.
He's very bad.
He is. It's. Have you seen Now You See Me?
I have not. No.
So Mark Ruffalo is a cop in that, and there's a scene where they put the tracker bug that he's using onto him, and he chases himself for about 15 minutes.
How does he not realize it's himself?
Exactly. It's really silly. And he at the end of it, he gets all mad and goes, "I was chasing myself."
It just seems like a waste.
It's the same thing. Like it's every time. Like Jack Valentine is like, "Oh, I got him this time," and it's like he just got it. It's like, "No, I have papers for the potatoes," and he's like, "You got me."
But also, if he was good at his job, he would, go in and check the potatoes, no matter how stinky they are. Like that's his job.
He's like, "I don't like the smell."
Yeah, and walks away. I don't know. But I think actually I think he was actually contemplating going in there, but then they got the call saying, "We saw the crystal over that way." And that's the thing that actually made them leave. But
yeah, I mean, it's a weird movie because there's so few people in it.
Yes.
Like I was thinking the whole time, like I know at the beginning he's like starting up and like doing all the legwork, but even by the end when he's in like limos and things, he's still the one carrying the guns. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, why don't you hire people? Like, have you seen any mafia movie? They don't do their own work.
Well, he says that he doesn't trust anybody besides his brother,
right?
Especially when he gets into business with that African dude,
right?
And he's like, I don't want anybody touching nothing. I'm going to do everything myself and make sure these things happen. But also, I think because he became so good at smuggling himself, he didn't trust other people to smuggle for him because he thinks if they got caught, they just get caught and he'd be in trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's also only one Interpol agent. It's always Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
He's like, I got you this time. And he's like, no, you didn't. That's every time. Now that I think about it, every time he just goes, nah.
I know he's so what's his name in the movie? Yuri
Orlov.
Yeah, he's so smarmy throughout the whole movie that I'm like, but you're not charming enough to get away with this stuff. Like I just didn't understand, what made everybody be like, I'm gonna trust this guy. I didn't find there was anything. Maybe it's because we have the background of it and we know he's lying. Maybe that's why, but I don't find he came across as like suave enough or like he was well spoken, I guess. And I guess he could put spins on things, but even a good spin artist, if you're not like, charming, people are just going to be like, yo.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's part of that. He seems very knowledgeable about the product. He did read the instruction booklet for the Uzi.
He did.
The fact that there's an Uzi instruction booklet made me laugh really hard.
Well,
he's like, which end do I? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, point it that way? All right.
Ooh, boy, that was close. That could have gone very poorly.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. And he did talk a lot about the AK-47, which I thought was very interesting, actually, because I didn't know where the AK stuff comes from.
It's when you absolutely have to blow every motherfucker away.
Yeah.
AK-47.
It was very disturbing.
Yeah.
Also, the scene at the international like gun show or whatever, where they had like pretty chicks on a tank walking back and forth, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing?
It was. Yeah. There's a lot of that in this.
Yes.
I don't want to come off as something weird. I found the nudity in this movie to be very odd
because it was always gross.
It was. I mean, it was always gross. Yes. Yeah. For sure. It was definitely gratuitous, completely unnecessary.
Yep.
What struck me as odd though is how quick each one of them were. There was like a couple where it was just like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
So like it feels like it should be in there for titillation, but they don't want to do that. And so they just have it to fill. It feels like they were fulfilling a quota. Like they needed to have 5 nipples in it. And so there's like, okay, well, we need an odd one. Let's have half that girl's dress fall off for a split second.
Yeah, for no reason.
Like, for no reason at all.
Yes. Because she walked into the room and the dress was fitting her just fine. Yeah. But when she left the room, for some reason, here's a boob. And you're like,
yeah.
What? No?
I could tell you that if you're on a set of a movie and there's a dress that is at all like moving, they will tape that to that person.
Yes.
So it will not move.
Yeah, I have been on those sets.
Not. Yeah, they did that girl dirty.
They did. They did. But I think like part of it, like about half of those scenes were really just to show how gross everything is. Like they're just like adding that extra gross, uncomfortable level that, you know, a good person, a quote unquote good person who's also a functioning part of our society and who lives within the rules would not be in that environment kind of thing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the stuff with women in this movie is pretty troublesome.
Well, they're objects. They're things to be had.
Well, yeah. And I mean, he pursues this. Did they go to high school together or junior high school together or something?
No, they lived in the same neighborhood. And he had been
that's it?
As if I remember correctly, yeah, they lived in the same neighborhood and she lived like down the street and she was like a beauty queen or something. So she knew about him. And like the earliest shot of her, you see, she's like waving on her little, you know, thing as she like won some beauty contest.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he didn't like know her. He didn't.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like we went to school together and she didn't know my name, as far as I could tell by what he said. It was more along the lines of, I know of this woman. She lives in my neighborhood. I'm obsessed with her, kind of thing.
Yeah. So his way of courting her is he hires her for a fake photo shoot. Mm-hmm. And then the photographer doesn't show up because of a fake hurricane, which, by the way, why would you say use hurricane? It was like
no idea.
It would like be it's like using a natural disaster to come. It's like, I think I would have. Nah, you wouldn't have heard about it.
Yeah. I love the fact that she's like, but the weather seems fine on my when I checked, and he's like, oh, you might not have what? Oh,
you know how quick hurricanes form? They never see them coming.
No, they're a long distance away.
And then I think the weirdest moment, one of the weirdest moments in this movie is when he goes, well, I could take your picture. And he takes out a camera and starts taking pictures of her. And I'm like, that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen a person do. That should not have worked.
To be honest, the whole encounter should not have worked and was weird and uncomfortable. Yeah. Because honestly, if I was stuck somewhere and he was the only person there and he kept giving me weird eyes and stuff, I would honestly switch seats so I wouldn't have to face him.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of like a Taxi Driver thing where he's just like obsessed with this woman from afar.
Yes. Yeah. And all of his lines are so lame and so corny that I'm just like, it's not even sweet. It's like I said, I don't find he comes across suave or sweet or kind at any point. He comes across sleazy and creepy. He's one of those people who are just like, he's like, I'm saying suave things, right? It's totally suave. It's totally suave. Like, he's that guy. Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about the wife a lot. Okay. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because like after they get married, like she says to him that she knows that something's up, right? Like she's like, I just don't lie to me. Essentially, it was like, I'm gonna look the other way. Don't whatever.
Yeah.
And then the FBI, the Interpol guy comes up to her like later on in the movie, and it's like, no, he sells guns, and she's like, what? And I'm kind of was like, well, what did you think was happening? Like, also, like, of the things that he would be doing in secret, gun running is not the worst one. Like, it's still like some people sell guns legally. Like, he just sells them illegally. Yeah. Not really that much of a difference in the end. Mm-hmm. But he's not selling drugs. He's not killing people. He's directly, like killing people. Like, he's not working for the mafia or whatever. Yeah. I don't really know what she's so shocked by. Obviously, he's doing something not on the level. And, you know, she kind of turns on him too, right?
She does. Well, because she tracks him, and because she's not as good as evading people as she is, the cops track her and they find his little container full of like guns and his notes and all this kind of stuff.
And the painting he bought.
Which was actually kind of a nice painting.
I wrote down her paintings aren't bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's the only painting she ever stole. And I think that actually hurt her more than everything else, because when she turned around and saw the painting, she was like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done.
How dare you
to me?
How dare you encourage me?
I was like, that's the nicest thing he's done in the whole film. Like,
and obviously it shows that he really does care for her feelings. Like it's actually like, I mean, opposed to all the other stuff he does, like just that's actually the nice thing he does in that movie. He's like, oh, I'll buy it, and then she'll never know, and she'll think that she's great, which fine. And if she didn't sell anything else ever, then he was right to do it.
Exactly. Well, because even later on, she complains about being a failed actress and her modeling career is over and a failed artist. And I'm like, but he bought a painting, so technically you sold one, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. You know, you can call yourself an artist at that point. But the thing that bothers me about her character and the fact that she's like so offended at the end is that at the scene at the wedding, like when they're talking to each other, and she's fully like, don't tell me what you do, just don't do anything stupid. But I'm like, you automatically put yourself in that position to be like manipulated, because you don't want to know what he does. You don't want to know where his money comes from. You have chosen to be kept in the dark. Like that's what you want out of this marriage. So then when you find out he's doing something wrong and you're just like, how could you? Why are you surprised? Like,
I thought it was going to be kind of like a Carmela Soprano kind of thing, where like she's not involved in the business, but when push comes to shove, she is with him.
Yes.
Like she'll go up to the attic and get the shotgun, like if she needs to, right? But no, that it's sort of, it was inconsistent in the, I guess, 15-year relationship they had.
Yeah, it was something like that. It just didn't. Yeah, I find she just comes across like I know they call her a trophy wife, but I don't think she's like that stupid and that airheady. I think she was just she's like, I have found somebody who's obsessed with me, I'll take it, essentially. And she was like, you are going to give me a lifestyle I want, and if I don't know anything about it, then I can live with myself. Because as soon as she gets any information, like you get the scene where she's like, I can't wear all the clothes, there's blood all over. And I was just like, I don't feel sorry for you. You put whatever.
There. Yeah, come on, Lady Macbeth. Let's calm down here.
I know. But yeah, no, I think she's a badly written character. I mean, people like that exist. I'm not gonna say no. But like we said before, women in this movie are used as objects. So as soon as you have a woman that's supposed to do more than one thing, they're just like, do chairs talk? Like, what would a chair say? Like, that's essentially what the writing in this feels like.
Yeah, Jack Valentine puts a lot of mustard on trophy wife too. Like, he's really digging in trophy, and I'm like, is she? I mean, he married a model. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. Shut up, Jack Valentine. Like, get over. Like, what an interrogation do you? What interrogation skill is that? Just like, your dumb wife. Like, come on. Why?
Like, that's not gonna make anybody want to tell you
what
anything.
Are you doing?
Yeah.
Why personal attacks on this?
Well, but even when he's talking to the wife about Yuri, and he's trying to get her on his side, he brings up her dead parents and is like, he sold people like him sell guns and make this happen. And you're like, that's not something that's going to get them on your side.
Yeah. Like, I wrote that down as well. Like, that's a big swing, man. Yeah, like, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the point where she's like, get the fuck out of my house. I was sitting here listening, being patient with you, even though I don't believe you. Now you've gone over a line, get out of my house. And like, I understood that reaction. I really did.
I like that he had it a little like the newspaper clipping, like in a little pouch. He's like, remember this? Remember your parents being dead?
Yeah, he probably stole it from a library.
He's by the book.
Yes. What did you do? He went and found the microfiche, printed it out. Hopefully there are people here.
Took him all day at the public library.
I know, just flipping through. Like,
well, that's why he had to use it. He was just like, I gotta use this card. It took me all day.
All day. It's gotta. I know we didn't get there. I know, but yeah, I gotta tell you. Here's the article. But also, do you know how long it took me to find this? Oh my god, I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah. But she really wasn't used very much in it. Like most of the time she's on screen, it's look how pretty she is. Oh, she's smiling. I'm gonna take her picture. Ooh, I just got home from a business trip where I may have AIDS now. I'm gonna have sex with her in a shower. And you're like, what? That
was the shower thing. Yes. I have multiple things about what you just said. First of all, the shower thing. Is there a window above the bed into the shower?
Yes.
What is that room?
I have no idea. Because I was watching it thinking exactly the same thing. I was like, wait, what? What is happening here? This is just weird. I don't. Well,
you live in like a pervert hotel? Like, what is the? It's like, oh, we put you in the peeper room.
They probably have a mirror over the ceiling that we didn't get to see. Probably. That's just weird. Yeah, I had the same issue with that part. I was like, I don't know where you're going. It's
now, the AIDS stuff is rough.
It's intense.
That is some rough shit, man. Jumping way ahead to like his like drug induced like haze downfall part where he has sex with, I'm assuming, a sex worker.
I'm thinking so.
And after she's done and robs him, kind of. He says, "Are you sick?" And it was just made me real sad.
Yeah.
Made me very sad.
I mean, to be honest, the whole, like we said, the whole thing in Africa was offensive, essentially. And I'm like, I know warlords exist and I know horrible situations like this do exist. I did live through that time period and I was old enough to remember the stories about like Sierra Leone and all that kind of stuff and like Rwanda and everything. And so I am not oblivious to, that kind of situation. But this movie does what a lot of movies and a lot of people who are from Africa, which is a continent, not a country, that has, lots of different countries and lots of different people and lots of different economic standings and political structures and all that kind of stuff, that you're like, we're going to show the ghetto, and I also understand that this is about gun running to like a crazy despot and everything, but like it's just offensive. Like everybody's just in dirt. Nobody's wearing clean clothes. People are just murdering each other, and you're just like, really?
Yeah. I mean, he refers to it as the African way, right?
Yeah, which is
where it's them stripping the anything that's left out will be stripped down and taken away. I think that's what he was referring to. Also in that scene, the guy that's with Jack Valentine threatens him with a machete.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh boy, that's not cool. They should not have that in this movie. I mean, if he was like a white guy with a gun to his head, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
African guy with a machete at his throat, way too much and way over the top and too much of a horrible stereotype.
Well, my question is too, I'm like, why would he be using a machete in the first place? Wouldn't he just have a gun? Like,
yeah.
But they also wanted to show that, the black guy's savage. You're just like, no.
It was very shiny
though. It was very clean.
It was very clean. He works on it.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for upkeep on his machete.
Well, maybe it was a new one and he just wanted to give it a go. Like,
It's one of those Interpol issued machetes they have for.
They got the machete 8.0 or something. And they're like, here's your upgrade.
It's really well balanced.
Yes. It has a mahogany handle instead of an ash handle.
Yeah.
Well polished and stuff. It's got like his little initials in it and stuff. So
yeah.
Nobody else can use it. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I feel like now I'm gonna get hate mail from the. I should not yes and this bit anymore.
I'm a Black person. I'm allowed to say it.
I am not.
You silently nod and smile and be like, I'm uncomfortable. Thank you.
It was shiny. That's what I have to say. No, I agree. It was horrible, and I noticed it immediately. Like I just went, oh nope, not cool.
No. Yeah. And I know they were like, so one thing you have to know about this movie is that at the end of the movie, it actually says on screen that the events in this were based on a true story. I don't know how close it is or whatever, but sure. But I know they were picking places in the world that people would remember and recognize, because within the movie, he says, right? And the Interpol guy says that Africa is not the only place he's running guns to, right? But they choose to center it on this quote unquote savage African land to do this, where they could have picked wherever else, because he was drug running in Europe. He was drug running in South America. He was drug running to Asia. And you have to pick the most like ridiculous, fear-mongery, stereotypical thing to portray in this. And you're just like, why? It's just always my question.
Yeah, I mean, he's Ukrainian. He's playing a Ukrainian character. It takes place around the fall of the USSR. Mm-hmm. It actually could have been a lot more interesting if it was like in Bosnia, or because there's like a lot of stuff happening in the 90s in Bosnia and Herzegovina, mm-hmm. and all those, and like the Chechens in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. There's lots of stuff that you could have done, and it could have been in relation to like his parentage is like, he's like, that would be an interesting thing, especially based on the way that we're looking at Ukraine and Russia now. You could have had a really interesting movie about like his cultural identity versus where he grew up, and his family fled by pretending to be Jewish.
Yep.
Also interesting. I loved the dad, actually.
He was more Jewish than most Jewish people. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a really funny joke. I mean, not in a mean way. Like, I'm not laughing at him. I actually think Judaism is an interesting religion. Mm-hmm. But like him talking about going to temple and stuff and his like Catholic wife is just, well, you're not Jewish. And he's like, oh, I'll talk to you about it later.
Yeah, after she puts like what did she put down? Like muscles or something in front of me. He's like, I can't keep jumping.
Yeah, that was very out of tone with the rest of the movie too. Yes. Like, I thought that was fun. Mm-hmm. That it was sort of, it's a fun joke, but then the rest of it doesn't do it. I wrote down that I felt like Jared Leto and Nicolas Cage did big accents to start, and somebody told them to stop. Don't you feel like they came to set going, I am Yuri?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't do that. And he's like, what do you mean?
I agree, but I also think that works within the film because, so, when you first meet them, it's like 1980 and they're still young and, they're only with their parents. And then when they get into business and he's trying to be worldly, I think he actively acts to get rid of the accent to sound more, I guess, professional or whatever. And also the fact that he learns a whole bunch of languages, sometimes that also causes your accent to be different.
Yeah. No, I'm actually fine with him not doing it. That would have been awful.
Throughout the whole movie, it would be difficult.
If he was doing a heavy Ukrainian accent the whole movie, from Little Odessa, then it would have, which is real. I think there's a real Little Odessa. But it would have been way big. It would have been so big. And like Jared Leto doing a crazy accent would have been way too much.
I mean, this was relatively like he was still relatively not unknown, but not as big as he is now. Because the thing I remember him from initially was My So-Called Life. You know, he played what's his name? Jordan Catalano. That is the name I remember. And like even watching this movie, I was thinking to myself that I'm just like, oh, he's not full of himself yet. It's like what, like I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, you're not full of it. Okay. You're not method acting. You're not torturing people around you. You're not being just like, I'm Jared Leto and I'm being a dick. Like, because it comes across, right? Like he's acting the character and you're not sitting there going, it's Jared Leto. Whereas I find now, no matter what he's doing, you're like, it's Jared Leto. And he's stupid. Like, that's just all I think all the time now.
Yeah. Oh, he's in this comic book movie? Ah, shit.
I know. It's one of the few comic movies I have not watched. I wonder why.
I have not seen Mobius. I did see Suicide Squad.
The second one, right?
I saw the first one as well. He's in the first one. He's not in the second one.
He's horrible as Joker.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
But I also think it's just a general representation of Joker they put in there made no sense whatsoever.
You don't think Joker has a grill?
It's not. No, but that's
not
thing.
That's not what you think of as the Joker. What do you mean?
It's not even his visual stance. The Joker in that movie is about money. The Joker is not about money. That is what people forget. So when they brought him in there and he had his like, because he can have gold chains and a grill, but if he steals something or wants something, he's not having no fancy shiny car. He'll probably go outside and burn all the shiny fancy cars. And that was my problem with it. It's like you have completely lost what the character is. You can make him visually different as much as you want, but you've lost who the character is. And that was my problem with that Joker.
Yeah, if you're going to tattoo the word damaged on someone's forehead, they need to live up to that.
Yes. Oh, God. I forgot about that tattoo. Oh, my God. Okay, never mind. That tattoo was wrong as well.
It's called subtlety.
Yes. What was I saying? I was saying other things about Jared Leto, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's not bad in this. Like, I mean, he is used kind of as one thing repeatedly.
Scary. Yeah.
As in like he's a guy that's been fucked up for a decade and a half, I guess.
Well, but I think it has to do with the things he saw while helping his brother, and to get over it again. Yeah. He got addicted to the cocaine. And then every time he was pulled back into it, or anytime he had memories, he would relapse. And that was understandable. So, but the thing is, it's like, so later on in the movie, the dictator calls, oh no, it's not the dictator that calls him this. It's the DE agent, Mr. Valentine, calls Nick Cage's character. Oh no, Nick Cage is telling him that he's like the most evil guy ever, and blah 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 blah. But to be honest, I don't think he's that evil. I just think he's like indifferent. And that's what gets him through his day.
It's a psychopathy. Yeah.
So it's like everybody's like, you're evil, I have to take you down, you're a bad guy. But I don't even think that's what it is. He finds out he's good at selling shit, and the first thing he has to sell is a gun, so that he keeps selling guns. That's just all that happens, you know?
Yeah, it's sort of a nihilistic kind of thing where he's just like, people are always going to buy guns, I'll sell guns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's sort of true. Mm-hmm. Also, people need to be more careful with bullets. They're just like putting them in boxes all over the place in this movie. Don't those things go off if you like shake them hard enough?
No, isn't it if you like stamp on them, or if they're like heated? Like
I guess. I don't know. I know that there's an explosive in them.
Yes, you know, gunpowder is an explosive.
Yeah, and like putting all them like next to each other where they can all just like tap on each other. That seems a bit scary.
I mean, I'm not in the packaging bullets industry, so I'm unsure.
Well, maybe that's what we should get into. I feel like there's a market for this. We'll get some padded bullet things.
Is it just bubble wrap, you think?
I mean, maybe like a lot of little tiny bubbles. Yeah.
Yes.
I can see that
might work.
Or like those little plastic things that you can like punch in and out.
Oh yes, those are
yeah, those are nice. Yeah.
Or well, I guess, well, if you put it, no, I guess it would sink if you just use like packing peanuts or whatever and mix it in. They'll probably just like sink to the bottom anyways. Be there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes, I know. This is a conundrum. This is something they need to
this is a Rubik's Cube of a business we have here, and we're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure it out.
I don't think people get mad at us for packaging bullets. Like, how tangential to the gun runnings do you have to be morally okay?
That's the thing, right? Because I mean, if you go, you can go far back to the guys who dug the ore out of the ground for the smelting of the metal that makes the bullets. Like, what do you do, right? You just kind of got to go with it.
I like that they also threw in that he's just getting paid in blood diamonds.
Yeah.
We're like, just like to add extra, just like sortedness to it. Yeah. It's like, what if I paid you in diamonds? And then the narration comes up, blood diamonds. It's like, there you go.
It's about all the people who die for the diamonds. You're like, yay. Well, because I think it's really funny because it's the bullets he's selling them who's killing the people who's mining the diamonds that these people are stealing from. So I think it's like a full circle kind of thing, right?
It's like a season of The Wire.
Yes.
It's all vertical integration.
Still haven't watched The Wire.
I've seen the first 3 seasons.
Okay.
I've apparently the 4th is the best. I haven't done it yet. Yeah. But it's that kind of thing though, where it's sort of like, trying to think of another example. Did you watch The Expanse?
Oh yes, I loved The Expanse.
So you know how in The Expanse, like all these stories that don't relate to each other, it turns out they actually do relate to each other, and they feed off of each other. The Wire sort of makes the same thing, where like the drugs fund this, which funds this, which funds this, which then gives them this, and then it goes like it's it's about creating an ecosystem.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I love I did not like the last episode, I must admit. Because it didn't go anywhere. It added more questions instead of giving more answers, and you're just like, oh, is that it? What are you talking about? But that's for another day, I think. Yes.
I mean, that's sort of the moral of the movie in the end, right? It's sort of like, yeah, I do all this stuff, but sometimes your government wants me to do that stuff.
Yeah, because that's how the system works. That's how they make their money. That's how they move money. That's how they keep the industrial complex.
The military industrial complex.
There you go, going.
That's right. Yeah. Talking about Lockheed Martin. Mm-hmm. Halliburton. Other words from 2005.
Well, because I mean, they've been bitching for a long time about how, I mean, it's not only the US government, Canada's doing, like quite a few governments are doing this as well, where they keep saying, they're like, we're running out of money. We don't have money to put in like services. We don't have money to put in like infrastructure. We don't have money to put in like education and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, you need 10 new MiGs or something. That's a couple $1 billion. They're like, here you go. Like,
well, if you buy 6, you get 1 free.
That is true. Yeah. So it's really, it's bulk purchasing, you know, it saves you money in the end.
Yeah. The USSR was like the Costco for guns. There was just like a lot of them, and you get them at like a discounted rate. I mean, you had to buy more and spend more, but you get a lot for it.
It's worth it, right? In the long run.
Mm-hmm. Got to get them rubles. Did I say rubles? I meant No, I didn't mean that. I meant American dollars. Please pay me in American dollars.
Wasn't one part of it? He was like, they weren't even selling them by the gun; they were selling them by the ton or like
weight.
Yeah, the weight. Yeah. Well, it's just like, oh, you'll take five tons.
That was something that I actually was curious if it was real or not, because like he has a little monologue about how like when you leave a war zone, it's actually cheaper to leave the guns and rebuy them than ship them back. And I went, that sounds like a bureaucratic thing that's real. And I don't know if it is or not. It does sound like something that's like, yeah, they probably do that because it's awful.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because they probably have to, you know, the ships that like the people are on, like their soldiers are on, are not the same ships. They're some of the weapons and some of the stuff's going on there, but not everything's on there. So they'd have to have a different ship with fuel and all this kind of stuff and personnel to go over there to pick up the stuff to bring it back. Because they're not going to be like, wrap it up and send it through FedEx, because that's probably going to be like 5 times more expensive.
Well, they got to get all those potatoes to pack all the guns in too.
Exactly. But part of it might also be an issue with like piracy and
people saying that they're the captain now.
Yes. or even something along the lines of like, like we put everything on a military ship. It's being shipped back to America. But like in the USSR, when he's in the thing with like his uncle, and they're like, oh, we have like 50,000. Like, you have this is easily 10,000. Like, somebody's just like changing a number and they still have the same problem with things going missing. So, it may not be worthwhile for them to do that if they're going to lose a whole bunch of inventory. But also, I think it's just crazy. You go fight a bunch of people, leave your shit there, and then what do you think is actually going to happen to that stuff?
I don't want this anymore. It's got sand in it.
This one's used. It's hot.
Oh yeah, there was the thing with a used gun. I forgot that was part of the movie. I can't sell this. It's used.
I was like, really? I don't like. If you just like wipe it down, I think it should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The other thing that I actually did Google this because I wanted to know if I should make fun of this or not, and it's the guy with the gold gun.
Yeah.
There's a guy with a golden, super shiny gun. And I'm like, there's no way that gold is a good metal to use for guns.
Isn't that the son of the dictator dude?
Yeah. But like, you can't, that is a non-functioning gun. Like, it will explode if you use it. Gold is way too soft to be used as guns.
Well, I guess it depends on the, like, how pure it is. Because if it's 24 karat, which is almost pure gold, then definitely not. If you try to fire something out of it, the heat in it will melt it. Like that's just what's going to happen. But if it'll
go like,
and then just blow back at your face, and you're like, you're like the guy from like, what is it? In Game of Thrones when he has the gold poured on him.
I forgot about that.
You're welcome.
I mean, that was funny because that guy sucked.
Yes.
Like, it was hilarious.
Yes.
But it was pretty awful.
Yeah. One thing about Game of Thrones, they're very good at making you hate people. So when they die in a horrific, horrible manner, you're like, you deserve it.
You mean when we all cheered for that child dying? When we collectively as a people watched a child die on screen and cheered.
We're like, that's what you get. Yeah.
Take that, you little monster.
Yeah. I feel sorry for that kid, though, because he actually quit acting because people just would throw things at him.
We've talked about this previously.
I don't know, but it just shocks me that people they're like, it's a show. He's acting.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good actor. The people really hate him.
That's true. That is true. Like, to be honest, like, I watched an episode, I'm like, Joffrey's choking to death. Yes.
That good stuff.
Yeah. Like, he's blue and bulgy-eyed. God. I mean, there were definitely, but the other side of it is that they also had characters that you liked so much that when they died horribly and brutally, you were just like crying in a corner, shaking. You're like, no.
Yeah. I've actually gotten weirdly squeamish with violence lately. In that, like, I just feel like when it's in something that the tone doesn't fit, like I've been feeling that a lot lately. Where I'm just like, this kind of makes me uncomfortable. Like, it's sort of like,
that's how I felt watching this. Like, I felt very uncomfortable. Like, even just the opening sequence, like the end of the opening sequence, I was just like, and I feel nauseous. Thank you.
When you said the opening sequence, do you mean like the way the bullet following the bullet along?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's rough.
Yes, it's very rough.
Right. I forgot it goes into like a child's head at the end. Yeah. That is rough.
Yeah. And the fact is, it doesn't even just like show like the child's face and then go black or anything. It's like, no, you hear the squish and you see like the red.
Yeah.
And then
that's true.
And you're just
that's
like,
kind of like a weird. Oh, it's like kind of like a weird comedy beat in a way. Like, you should have cut out before and not put a squish in. Like that makes it a little sillier.
It does, but I think it makes it also a little bit more visceral. Like, you know.
Did you see City of God?
A very long time ago, like when it came out.
I think that handles like similar kind of like the kind of stuff that we're complaining about, like the Africa ghetto stuff. I think that movie covers that area in a really good way. It takes place in Brazil within the favelas, but it's like it doesn't feel like it's exploiting it as much as this does, or showing it in a way that we as Westerners kind of look down on. I mean, it's brutal and awful, but in a way that doesn't feel like it's like this, essentially.
Well, I think the problem with it is that they don't show the other side of the countries. They essentially are like, no, this is what these countries are. You're like, that's not what those countries are. They have cities, they have vehicles, they have areas that are not controlled by crazy people wielding guns everywhere. They have rich sectors, and they have people who live in houses, not tents and huts, and not, their kids aren't rolling around in dirt outside all the time, and everybody's not walking around going like, I don't have anything to eat. That shit like exists here. Okay. But you show North America, guess what they showed? They showed New York and how pretty it is. And, even when he's selling the gun and he's like in the ghetto in a room, you're like, it's a pretty decent room that's relatively clean looking. It's just a creepy dude comes in to buy the gun. Whatever, right?
Yeah, we get rid of our tent cities here. Thank you very much.
Yes, the police come in. Yeah, and the police come in. People
they're all
who don't have anywhere to
problem solved.
Yeah, you got to just dust off your hands and walk away after that.
Look at this great park we have.
God, that was so sad.
I know. I'm just getting bitter.
Well, but I think it's a proper thing to say with this, where like media for a long time has shown, the countries of Africa in a very specific way. And it is considered to be, just this, there's lions in your backyard, you live in a mud hut, and everybody's trying to kill you and steal your stuff. And you're like, that's not what it is. So like, I just think it needs a proper representation of they are developed countries that have the same things we have here. Is just hacked. What's the big deal?
Yeah. I'm gonna say, as a blanket statement for Western movies, no more machetes. Not allowed.
What about the movie Machete? That's allowed, right?
Machete's allowed, because there's a scene in Machete where he has a fight while he's eating a taco. So you're allowed to have a machete in that movie, because that also happens in that movie. So you're allowed. But African country, not allowed to have machetes anymore. They did it in Casino Royale too, like a movie I really like. And that's it's not a cool thing to do. It's way overdone. Cut it with the machetes, guys.
Yeah. They have guns now. That's what this movie's about.
They have AK-47s.
Yeah.
It is true that it is on flags. That is crazy to me.
It is, yeah. But I also think a gun culture has been sort of perpetuated throughout things, like especially people who are gangstas with an A and gangsters with an ER have been perpetuated in films and things like that. And I know lots of people where like Scarface is their favorite movie, and they love you like, say hello to my little friend. They're like, oh, I gotta get one of those guns. Or even in this movie where the kid's just like, I have to have the same gun as Rambo had. Yeah. Like, it's just, they think guns are cool. Like, they want a gun. They want a thing. And you're just like, yeah, but a gun is a murder weapon. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, the gun of Rambo thing kind of that was like a cute joke until he gets it and uses it later.
Yes,
it's on just people walking.
Yeah, and you're just like, you are gross. But when that guy's introduced, Yuri does say he's even scarier than his father. So, right. So when he dies, kind of in a not the best way. I'm like, I'm glad he died so he doesn't get in charge of anybody. But that's also a horrible thing to say.
I don't know a ton about Africa. I'm going to and the various countries of Africa, which is what I'm about to say is I'm guessing there's several accents because I'm sure there are several languages. Mm-hmm. The one in this movie just sounds like Wakanda. It's the same accent.
So maybe Wakanda, like when they were making Black Panther, they like picked an accent. I don't know.
What? I like this guy with the gold gun. I think I'm gonna take over. I think I'm gonna get his mannerisms down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the movie is filled with Black people, obviously, but the only person who's like a major character in the movie who was born and raised in Africa, if I remember correctly, is Lupita, and everybody else is British or American, and they have to like. Well, no, then there's Winston Duke, who is a fellow Trinning. Nice to see you. We were very excited about that, but he does his own accent as well. But like they're picking accents, they're learning accents, right? And so I was just like, they sound like a general Africa person accent is what it sounds like.
Yeah. I'm happy there weren't clicks. If they had put it a click, I would have been mad. So at least they didn't do that.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd be like, come on, guys, we can't do the click.
Please don't.
Please don't do it. So at least they had that.
And yeah.
I weirdly enough, the warlord was actually kind of an interesting character in several places.
He was legitimate. Like I found him more charming than Yuri.
Yeah. But
also he was terrifying. Like terrifying. Yeah. I found him very scary.
What was with the scene with Ian Holm where they where they kill Ian? It's Ian Holm, right? Yeah. Yes. That was a weird scene, right? Like I don't really remember like what the kind of impetus was for that happening. Like I know that they kind of like he screwed him over in before and killed his contact in Russia. Was it just because of that?
No, I think it has more to do with, so the guy kept saying, you know, it's about loyalty and all this kind of stuff. And he has, you know, they have a deal and he's very, because when you're introduced to him, I think the voiceover says he's people who go against his loyalty die is essentially what he says. And I think when the guy comes in, he's actually trying to sell to his enemies, and then
I see.
Like trying to sell to him as well.
Right, because he does both sides. That was part of his thing.
So the disloyalty is the thing that got him angry, but then he also knew about the dude dying, so he was like, "Let's give you a shot at this." But I think it's also like based on the conversations before, I think he also knew Yuri had never shot anybody or used his guns, like felt like he feels it, like it's powerful. Like you have to feel that power. And I think he knew he hadn't done that before. He's like, this is what it's like. Gotta give it a shot. And then,
we'll pull the trigger together.
Yeah. I'm like, that whole. But that's when his stupor starts. I think that's when it actually affects him, because he's like, oh shit, what have I been doing? And then, he goes on his little bender and then he comes out of it and he's like, all right, let's do this again. Like that's, yeah. But that's his indifference. That's his callousness. That's his, as you put it, nihilistic nature. He's like, there's no fucking point. So what else? Yeah.
Yeah. Ian Holm was an odd kind of character as well. Like he wasn't as important to the movie as I thought he was going to be when the movie started, because he was sort of introduced at that gun bazaar thing with the girls with the guns. I also think that there was a guy dressed as a Russian general there, and I went, that's not right, because this was before the wall went down. He wouldn't be there.
Yeah. No, I think the whole point is like, so that thing was not like a regular gun show. This was like a gun show for countries, right? Like,
right.
Look at the cool new weapons we have. Do you want $1 billion worth? And they say yes, right? And I think it has more to do with like, I know this sounds weird, but it's a safe space, quote unquote. You know, for them to go like, look at all the new stuff. They're not on the battlefield as yet. They're just, you know, buying some tanks.
Right.
So maybe that's what it was. If it wasn't that, then yes, I'm confused by why he would be there.
At the beginning of I think it's Tomorrow Never Dies. There's like a scene, and it like the little thing comes down the bottom of the screen to say where you are, and it says Terrorist Gun Bazaar. And I went, yeah, that's okay, sure. I guess that's where we were at in Lord of War, was the Terrorist Gun Bazaar. I guess it's an annual event that they do. I think it was at the Hilton last year.
Yes.
Really go all out. They get the business center
set up, you know, make sure the Wi-Fi works really well.
They let them, there's a projector that they provide to them. It's really nice. Hilton is just like, yeah, we got that.
They're business oriented. They know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the conference rooms. Yeah. Love it.
One super nitpicky thing I had was when Yuri's in Russia and his friend, his general guy, was just killed. He calls his wife on the phone, right?
Yeah.
And she is just like, oh, do you know what time it is? Because it's the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but he's in Russia and it's the middle of the night.
Yeah, so it'd be in the morning.
It would be the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Come on.
No, wait, doesn't he call her like a bunch of hours later?
But it's nighttime.
Is it? I thought
it was nighttime.
Okay. Right,
he was still in the same place. Like, he was like looking at the bombed out car, and it was like dark, and he calls his wife and it's dark. And I'm like, I think it would be like, what, like 17 hours ahead or something in Russia?
In Russia? Well, it depends where. Well, no, where was he in Russia?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, because if he's like on the European border, like on the eastern side, he would
still be side. Like +7 though.
+7, yeah, 7 or 8, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea then. Yes, that is a thing to be nitpicky about.
Yeah, come on, guys. God, she should be awake and have other work to do.
Exactly.
So wait, also another thing, like when does the movie, like what year does the movie end?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to say like 95, 96.
But like, don't they have some? No, it has to be after 2000 because they make reference to the Bush Gore thing.
Do they?
Yeah. They're like Supreme, like holds up a newspaper, says Supreme Court throws away recount vote or whatever. Oh. And that was the 2000 election. So it ends like, I guess the movie ends right before 9/11.
Well, no, wouldn't they have thrown that out in 1999 then? No, the actual
election was 2000. Yeah.
Okay.
Bush took over in 2001.
Okay. So then, that is true.
So like, wouldn't his kid have been like 15 at the end of the movie?
But that's one of the reasons why I thought it ended earlier than that, because the last like pop-up date I remember like writing on the screen was 1991. And then, but I know it was a couple of years, but like it didn't really say. So that's why I was thinking like 94, 95. That seems.
I think it was like before the meeting with the warlord at the end. He holds up a thing saying like the world is, or America is crumbling or whatever. Mm-hmm. By the way, this was while Bush was still in power. This was 2005.
Yes.
The president was still in. It was this movie came out in a very like specific time in American culture. Like post 9/11, like America stuff was really like so big.
Yeah, but it was a combination of look how corrupt our politics are, but also America. Fuck yeah.
Also, let's support the troops.
Yeah.
Like there was so much of that.
So much.
So it was a bit at the end to have such a strong like America is kind of messed up at the end, like showing the like, oh no, I sell guns for you guys too.
Yeah. They do make a point. That's right. They do make a point of saying that he never sold to Bin Laden.
Yeah.
They do make a point of that. So
because he was too cheap.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't even because of politics. It was just because he didn't have the money.
Yeah.
That is correct. Okay.
He didn't have the money back then.
Yeah. Okay.
But America gave him guns. So in the 80s, and when this movie took place.
That's true. Yes, they gave it to him, and they left a whole bunch of stuff places, and they told them where it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the war in Afghanistan was fought with American guns on both sides.
Yep. And then they wonder what the problem is. No, they know exactly what the problem is. They just don't care.
Well, they stuck the landing. That was the important part.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. They're like, we're backing out loud. Beep, beep.
I'm just throwing out political bombs in here. I'm just like lobbing them up. Letting you deal with it.
Oh God. I'm gonna have to like cut half of this out. Be like, I'm gonna get sued for this. I'm gonna be disappeared for this. I don't know if I can say this.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the Asian representation in Lost in Translation yet.
Oh my God. It's a movie that takes place in Japan, and the main characters are white people. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Oh no, but Scarlett Johansson would never pretend to be a Japanese person.
Never. No. Oh. There's a funny connection with that in this movie, which I think is hilarious.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so we started talking about it.
Cool. All right. Let's do it.
Sofia Coppola.
Yeah.
She is the personification of white people doing white people things.
This is true.
In a very pretty way. Yep. I do like this movie. I do like Virgin Suicides. Marie Antoinette. And those are the only movies of hers I've seen.
You didn't see The Bling Ring?
No, I actually didn't realize until I was looking it up. I didn't realize she directed that one.
Oh,
I was like,
awful.
Really?
I hated that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like Marie Antoinette very much either.
Yeah, like it's like all of her movies are very pretty.
Yeah.
I was looking at her filmography, and I've realized most of her filmography is music videos and commercials for like Dior and stuff.
Oh,
and I'm very confused as to like what has she been doing exactly? It doesn't seem to be very much. But she did make a good amount of money on the movies that she made. So
I mean, I'm sure she doesn't need it for one. Yeah. Based on her name and being Nicolas Cage's cousin.
Yes.
But that's where she gets all her money. Nicolas Cage gives it to her.
Or maybe her father, like
who's that? Oh, that wine, the guy that makes the wine.
The guy that makes the wine, yes.
The guy that makes the wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to fault anybody for doing commercials or music videos and stuff. I didn't know she did those, though. What music videos did she do?
Let's see. I know she did the music video for the Virgin Suicide song. Okay. It had what's his face in it? It's not Sexy Boy. It's the other one.
It's Air. That's Air, isn't it?
That's Air. Boy? Yeah. No, it's the other one. Oh, Playground Love. That's the one.
Oh, okay.
She did. That's also by Air, though.
They have a song in Lost in Translation too.
They do. Yes.
Yeah.
She
did. Alone in Kyoto, I think it's called.
So,
I love the soundtrack for this movie.
I did not look up the soundtrack for this. I probably should have, but I was very entertained by the live music being sung in the movie. I found that very entertaining.
Yeah, it's all. I really like the soundtrack. I like a lot of things about this movie. I am definitely going to be someone that's going to be defending it in the next, 2.5, 3 hours that we're going to do.
Oh yes, definitely.
But yeah, no, I'm going to acknowledge that it has some problems to it, but I think it speaks to me in a very specific way. That is probably a very subjective way rather than something that I'm going to be able to explain very well. So, which is why I took almost no notes on Lost in Translation, because it's really, to me, the movie is so much more about how I feel about it than what I'm actually watching.
Yeah. I mean, I think watching, it's a very beautifully shot movie, and it has a very specific mood, a little bit of wonder and melancholy, and kind of exploring not just the environment around you, but like who you are and stuff. And I think it has some very interesting things that's being presented. But then you do see the problematic things like Scarlett Johansson would have been like 18 or 19.
She's like 17 when this was shot.
Oh, when it was shot. Okay. So then that makes it even worse in my head because she's playing a person who is young, but married and gone across to the other side of the world away from everybody she knows. So she's playing like a 24, 25-year-old. They're not specific in here.
She had just graduated from college.
Yeah.
Is the age that she's playing.
Yeah. And so, and then Bill Murray, while shooting this, would have been in his 50s. And then I found out the kiss at the end of the movie was not in the script. It was like an impromptu in that situation. And I'm like, I know they're actors and I know sometimes you get lost in something, but like when I hear, like, if it was something in the script, I'd have been like, okay, they did it because it said so in the script. But when it's impromptu, like, I feel I should kiss the 17-year-old. It makes me uncomfortable. Is
it that it was impromptu on his part, or that they both agreed on it the day of? Like, was it like not written in the script, or did they like discuss it before the scene started?
I heard it like where did I read? I read it on. It was like in one of those like IMDb
right trivia
things. I probably should have copied down the actual note.
No, that's cool. I'm sure that it I don't know. I don't know that anecdote. I mean, yeah, I agree. When I found out that she was so young when they made it, I went, really? Ugh.
Yeah, that was my first reaction as well. Because like when I was like, so it came out when she was 19, so they filmed when she was 18. Now you're saying it was filmed when she was 17. I was like, no.
I think she had her birthday on set, maybe something like that. She said that it made her a bit uncomfortable walking around like a hotel room in her underwear with a bunch of Japanese men around her.
Yeah, she did not enjoy that. And apparently Sofia Coppola, for the first scene where she had to do it, she was in the underwear as well while they were filming it to make her like more comfortable. But also my first note for this movie, I'm like, the movie starts with a butt. Why? That was like my first question.
There's a lot of discussion around that shot, which by the way is the cover to the soundtrack album.
Oh God. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a reference to a painting, for one. I know that much about it. As for its meaning in the movie, I'm not sure.
It just seems
it is
unnecessary.
A bit out of place. It is.
Yeah.
It seems it feels a little out of place. I mean, it's dreamy. In that it sort of has a look of like, just from an aesthetic point, that shot is it's kind of fuzzy. It's sort of in focus. I don't know if it's Kevin Shields playing at that moment, but it's got that kind of like shoegazy soundtrack happening, and the thing comes up. It works aesthetically for the rest of the movie, but you're right, it doesn't quite gel with the tone of the rest of the thing.
Film, yeah. Well, because for me, like, that scene could easily have been like, they didn't want to show who it was, which is fine, but they could have been like, it's her shoulder in the back of her head or the middle of her back, and she's wearing something pink. Like, that would have been fine. I just found it like, they're just like, oh, we're grabbing them in with sex. And you're just like, really? Is this what's happening? No, I don't know. I don't think this is.
I think she's rather desexualized for the rest of the movie.
She is,
which is why I think that shot, that very first shot is odd.
Well, it becomes, it becomes more and more unnecessary as you watch the film.
Yeah, well, I read like a Wikipedia thing, and they sort of talked a lot about how there's a lot of examination around that shot. And somebody said that it was sort of a subversion of the male gaze because it's so long that it makes you uncomfortable, which I don't quite agree with. But I agree that it probably doesn't need to be there. Granted, it sort of goes along with like the virgin suicides aesthetic too, where there's sort of like a purity to it as well.
Yeah.
Which as a male watching it, it feels a little creepy because it feels like me looking at a young girl's underwear. So I don't love that. But yeah. It sort of fits along with, and I had seen virgin suicides before I saw this. So I was sort of like, okay, I kind of get the wavelength, but yeah, I agree. It doesn't need to be there.
It does. Yeah. I just think it just doesn't need to be there. Even if it is supposed to evoke that, to me, it just doesn't. I was just sitting there going like, why is there a butt on my screen? And I think the problem with it too is that the movie doesn't continue from that scene.
Yeah.
It's not like she gets up and she does stuff and like it's a person. It's a butt on your screen. It goes black and then you're at Bill Murray. And you're just like, what? Why am I looking at a butt? That's all I kept thinking.
Yeah, no, I can't really defend that one so much. Yeah, but I mean, I think, so I'll just go on. I'll just carefully step past that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'll go to like the Bill Murray stuff after that. I quite enjoy. I laughed at a bunch of stuff that he deals with. I like that when he has a shower, it doesn't go high enough.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. It which I know kind of seems like it's a joke about like a short joke. But I think that a lot of what the movie's kind of getting at is these people don't fit in the world.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Sure.
If you pay attention to the shower head that's in there, the reason why I laughed at it is that that's one of the shower heads you can pick up.
Yeah, 100% it goes higher than that.
So I was like, you could just pick it up.
Yeah.
Go all over.
Yeah. But I mean, I think a lot of because it's a movie about isolation and it uses a foreign country as an other, which is totally true. But I think that what it's getting at is about that these people don't fit in no matter where they are. And it's just using this as a tool to convey that in a much more explicit way.
So I don't know if I've said this on here before, if you know this, but I lived in Japan for 5 months. In 2007, it was after this movie came out, but I hadn't seen this movie until after I came back. And that's one of the reasons why I feel I have a soft spot for this movie, because when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, I did that. Oh, I know how that feels like. Oh, I get it. Because you do feel isolated, because it's more than just not being able to talk to people, because their written language as well is also completely different from our language. You can't read a sign. You can't communicate on any level. You don't even know how to like look up a word properly for you to be able to translate something, to say something to someone. Because even if you go to somewhere like Spain or France, any of the countries with like a romantic language and has our alphabet, you can figure out a sign. You can figure out how to look something up. You can figure out how to interact. But there, where you have no connection to anything, the isolation hits you so hard, so quickly.
Yeah.
You get so lost. And that's how she's feeling when her husband's not there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's that she's lost as well after college. Like, she doesn't know what she wants to do either. And then he's coming off of his career is sort of on the decline, and he's lost in like what he's going to do next as well. So just putting them in this as fish out of water, it doesn't feel like quite like it's fish out of water to me. It feels like they are inhabiting a place that don't fit. And I think that that's just supposed to be how they are, because they deal with people from the West as well. And they hate them. Like they don't mesh with those people at all.
Do you think that's what it is though, when they deal with people from the West? I actually think it's more about the fact that them being lost together and they're unsure of their next step is the thing that makes them connect. But the people from the West, I think there's a lack of understanding of their experience for the people of the West than an isolation from them, if you know what I mean.
I think it more of is an alienation rather than isolate. Like, I mean, who are the other white people in this movie, right? We have Spike Jonze, Giovanni Ribisi. Yeah, and then his wife on the phone. Yes. And Anna Faris. Anna Faris.
Yeah.
And like every time you're dealing with any of those people don't fit in, like they don't fit with them either. Like, and I'm somebody that has felt like they don't fit in. I think that's a rather universal experience, right? Like, yeah. I have felt like the world isn't, I'm not really down with what everyone else is into and all that kind of stuff. And I grew up in a place where I didn't speak the language as well. I grew up in Quebec, and my French sucks. I've been to the hospital with a broken bone and not known what the doctor was saying to me.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's definitely something, and this movie kind of gets that feeling pretty well. Yes,
it does. Yeah, it does. I think that's why like you and me connect to it so well, because you're like, I've done this.
Yeah.
And you are portraying it correctly.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I went to Japan about 4 years ago for a week, not for 5 months like you. That's very jealous of that. But what's funny is like I saw this when it came out, so I knew, and it was in my mind when I was planning my trip, and I went there and I was like, man, yeah, no one's talking with me. I'm very isolated. This is the best.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, everyone's leaving me alone. This is fantastic.
No, well, I guess I had a slightly different experience because so I lived, while I was there, I lived in a place called Mochiwata, which is about half an hour outside of Tokyo. And there's no Black people there.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that happened to me when I got there, so a guy met me. He was a British dude. So I was doing the teaching English things. That's why I was there. So they sent a person to take you home because my roommate was on vacation. She wasn't going to be there. So this guy took me. And so we get off the train. And one of the first things that happens was I got pointed at a lot. And now, as a person in North America, you don't get pointed at, you don't get stared at. And when you do, you're like, what the hell is your problem? Is your first reaction.
Oh.
They were just really excited. Like, what the fuck is that? It's a Black person. What? I've never seen one in real life. So it's very uncomfortable.
Oh.
And so I got to my apartment. The guy's like, you're good. He leaves. And I was just like, and Tracy starts to cry. That was the first thing I did when I got there, because I was in an apartment by myself in a place where I didn't know anybody, couldn't talk to anybody, didn't have a phone, didn't have anything. And I was just like, I don't know what to do now. What have I done? So yeah, that isolation is real.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely heard that is a thing. I mean, I didn't live there, so like I was there for a week on vacation. Not the same experience.
It's slightly different, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I know since I Googled Japan once, that's all I get on YouTube now. So like it'll just be like, this British guy lives in Japan and here's what he says about it, and I'll take the bait and listen to it. And they do talk about like, oh, I'm lonely as hell all the time.
It's really the thing that's really funny is you actually get used to not understanding things, so you tune things out. But as soon as you hear like somebody speaking English or a language you understand, you pick it up and you seek out that person. It happens.
Yeah. But wait, that person said tomato.
That's what happened.
That person said tomato.
I know, but it's true. That's literally what happens. That's why we're there. Like I remember once we were in so me and my roommate were in a store just buying stuff. And this dude just randomly comes up to us, just like holding stuff. And he's like, I heard English and I had to come say hello. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Like that was just it. And we're like, we get it. And then he was our friend. That was it.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, it was one of those things. And it's true. It's what happens because you feel this isolation. You feel so disconnected. So as soon as there's something even slightly familiar, you like gravitate towards it. And you're like, this is a thing I'm doing now. That's it.
Yeah. I went in my trip. I really appreciated the fact that I obviously don't speak Japanese. like they assume a white person does it, and guess what? In this case, they were correct. And and so they looked at me with the white guy with a beard and go, "Hello."
Yeah. It does happen.
Where are you from?
One of the
and
greatest...
I went, hey, how do you? Yeah, okay.
That's what he just wrote, konnichiwa, and that's it. That's all you gotta do.
And I'm like, I can't see. Okay, so I grew up in Quebec. I can say bonjour pretty good.
Yeah.
If I go into a store and I go bonjour, and they'll, first of all, if they don't detect my accent, which most of the time they do, they'll start talking to me, not where I want to go.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
Pretending I know anything, not going to help me in this situation. What was great about my trip to Japan is I could be the stupidest person in the room everywhere I went.
Yeah.
and no one would expect anything of me.
Nope. No, they would not. That is very
that guy can't do anything. I'm like, you're right, I can't.
That's just it.
Yep.
This is fine.
Can't do anything at all.
Yeah. Oh, travel is fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so these guys didn't take that well. So they, I think, they're both there for sort of business work, right? Like, Spike Jonze is there shooting a band and meets Cameron Diaz. I mean, not Cameron Diaz.
Not Cameron Diaz.
And no, not Cameron Diaz at all. Definitely not. She would never be there promoting a dumb action movie that she made in the early 2000s.
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
By the way, those scenes are so funny. Like the look on Charlotte's face while her husband is talking to Anna Faris' character, just like the look of disdain in her face as this woman is talking made me laugh so hard, because I have been in, like, I am that person. I am the person that listens to a person talking and go, it's like, oh, I cannot stand this person.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kind of be polite, but everyone else around me will know that I'm being tortured.
Yeah. Yeah. I have even before the pandemic, where it's gotten worse because half my face is usually hidden. I have always had a hard time hiding my expression or my dislike or my disgust at things. Like my lip just does things automatically. And people are just like, what's wrong with your face? I'm like, oh, sorry. Nice to meet you.
I've had times in my life where I was not the happiest person. Periods rather than moments, but I remember I was walking through the mall and I saw somebody I knew, and he's like, "Why are you scowling?" And I went, "You know what? I don't know." I'm sure I was. There's a line I wrote this line down because I don't think I had noticed it before. There's a line later in Lost in Translation where they're talking about the first time they saw each other. And Bill Murray says, that wasn't the first time you saw me, or that was not the first time I saw you. It was in the elevator. And she's like, oh, did I scowl at you? And I went, oh, I'm you. Yeah. I am that person. This is why I connect with this movie so much.
Yeah. No, I am very much that person too, because I have been diagnosed with resting bitch face. So
good stuff. By the way, congrats. Like,
thank you.
I think that's a badge of honor now.
It is.
So it's like, you got resting bitch face. I'm like, you rule. You know what? Everybody else.
Fuck all.
They deserve it.
Because the reason why I know I have this problem is because I didn't realize it. But if I'm out by myself and I'm just listening to music or I have my headphones on or whatever, I'm not smiling like a lunatic. I'm sorry. I don't have this like, yay, everything is great. Look at me. I don't have that look on my face. But I bump into people in public and they're like, oh, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I was just walking. That's it, So yeah, I actually have this problem. And like, if somebody thinks I saw them, but I didn't, but I have this like blank stare that looks kind of angry. They're just like, why are you mad at me? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even see you yesterday. What? It's a whole thing. Yes.
Well, first of all, city walking deserves a scowl.
I think so.
City walking. Also, I have also been told to smile more from a stranger.
Yes.
Yeah, women think that's hilarious, but I felt that. I've also been pushed aside by the small of my back before.
Yeah. Well,
and everyone's like, that's hilarious. And I'm like, no, I never liked it when you guys got that either.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I don't think they think it's hilarious because they think it's actually funny. No, it's more like, oh, now you know.
Oh yeah, no, I already knew.
Yeah, because
I'm just saying. I already knew that. I didn't need to learn a lesson.
But I don't touch people. Yeah, I get the why don't you smile more? You'd be so much prettier if you smiled more. What's wrong, girl? Give us a smile. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, it's just, it's so aggravating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's, So Much Pretty If You Smelled More is the stupidest fucking thing. No. Yeah. You know, all those hot ladies and all those magazines that they're smiling.
Yeah, not so much.
Look at those Dior commercials with the Sofia Coppola. They're not smiling.
No. Well, some of them they are.
It's called smoldering.
Yes. Or smizing.
Yeah.
Smize.
No, I prefer seething. That's what I usually have. What I usually am doing as I walk down the street.
Or what was it like during the late 90s, early 2000s when the look was heroin chic, they used to call it, where they were all like they were always too skinny and sweaty looking and just kind of like, I'm upset, I might throw up in 5 minutes. I'm like, what are you? What's no? Yes. Yeah,
not a good time for fashion photography. I don't think. No one told them to smile more.
Yeah, everybody was like, you guys need to take a shower. Let me take a picture first. Okay, now you can go. Oh, it was disgusting.
I feel like that wasn't the end of the photos in the early 90s. Like, I feel like that guy is gross.
Yeah. It was a very odd time, I think. Yeah.
So Bill Murray's in Japan for a photo shoot because it's Santori time.
Yes. For
which is a real whiskey.
Yeah, it's whiskey, right? Yeah, okay. I was just wondering. I was like, is it brandy? Is it whiskey? Is it cognac?
It's a whiskey. I do think the scene where the photographer's talking for a really long time and it's just with intensity. I think that's pretty funny.
He's like, are you sure that's what he said? Like, is there no more?
Like, I think that those kind of things are definitely questionable. Because that is sort of giggling a little bit at the culture. Like, he is saying those things from what I've read once that like somebody watched it translating. It's like, no, he is saying it. It's just, he's saying it in the most possible formal way possible.
Yeah.
So like, he's just saying it like with the most amount of words that you could, which is the formal language, because formal language in Japanese is very different from casual language.
It is, yeah.
From what I understand. As a white person that does not understand any of it. But so, I mean, but I don't think that I'm quite laughing at that. I think I'm laughing at the feeling that I know that Bob has, where he's just like, okay, what's happened? Like, just like the not understanding what's happening is where I'm getting most of my comedy from this movie, not necessarily at the people that are talking different.
Yeah, you know? I don't actually think they're making fun of the culture or fun of the people in any way, shape, or form in this movie, which is surprising to me. But I do think they're more focusing on the literal, like that scene specifically is actually lost in translation, like just the nuance and all that kind of stuff. But if you're in a place where you don't know what's going on, and for us, turn to the left is a short phrase, but for them, turn to the left, please, sir, if you wouldn't mind, is much longer. So for you in your brain, you're like, that small phrase could not have been what he said.
Right.
You know, and you know, you're just trying to make that connection. And because you don't know the language and because you don't understand, you have to go by someone's translation of things that you don't actually know. You don't know if you can trust them. You don't know if she's just being nice, you know, like he could be saying, look at this fucking moron, like, why can't you just do this even simple? And she's like, just smile. Is that really what he's saying? You know, but no, you have to depend on these people.
I mean, I think also like your interpretation of those kind of scenes depends on the way that you react to misunderstandings. So like in a situation where I don't understand what a person with a heavy accent is saying to me, I feel bad. Like, I feel like it's my fault for not understanding, and I wish that I did. And that's probably because I grew up in a place where I tried to speak the language unsuccessfully. So I have a lot of empathy for people speaking to me in a language they don't understand. So I'm going to go way over trying to like meet them halfway. Like, I'm really trying to like be as nice as possible and being very thankful for them speaking to me. So like, but if you're somebody that doesn't think that you could think that this is sort of making light of people trying to speak a language that they don't speak very well.
Yeah.
There is a couple instances where the LR thing is probably not tastefully handled in this. The other joke that I cannot defend is the black toe joke that Bill Murray makes.
That was a little too far. Yes.
Yeah, I can't. And I'm like, oh, I cannot defend that one. That one's pretty rough. That also feels like an ad lib. It does, right?
Yes.
It feels like that's the end of the scene that was supposed to end, and Bill Murray kept going for a little while.
And they're like, it's funny, keep it in. And then you're like,
yeah.
Is it? Are you sure?
It's not so much 20 years later.
No.
But it was definitely okay at the time because I didn't even clock it when I was a teenager.
I don't honestly watching it, I didn't even remember that scene. So I was like, okay.
Me neither. I remember they went to the hospital. I remember that part. I thought the scene at the hospital is great, actually.
The old guy and him trying to he's trying to like ask him a question because it's a question because he says so questions in Desca. So
sure.
Yeah. So I know he's asking him a question, right? I actually looked up what the question was, and the question was, how long have you been in Japan? That's the question the guy was trying to ask him.
Yeah.
And that's why he kept going like, fly here.
Right. Right.
But it's true. Like if you have no clue what they're saying, his movements make no sense.
Oh no, I didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah, but the thing that makes that scene for me is the two ladies behind them
laughing their ass off. Yeah.
Killing themselves. Yeah. I thought
that's kind of a counter argument to kind of the argument about because there's a lot of talk about Orientalism around this movie, and exoticizing and kind of and making and laughing at another culture. But I mean, there's that scene of the movie where those two ladies, they're laughing at him, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, like
that, and like essentially pointing and laughing, and it's that's just sort of how it is. From what I understand, in I think it's China. They think white people speaking Chinese is hilarious.
Yeah.
They
think that in Japan too.
They do. Oh, yes. Maybe I'm confused. I don't remember exactly which one it was. I've heard of people being on like variety shows and they're brought in as foreigners and things like that. So, it's sort of like it's a difficult thing to kind of do. Yeah.
Well, I think also just representing a different culture than your own in anything, you have to be prepared to be criticized of your representation of it, because your representation of the culture is like, unless you've lived in it for a long time, is very high level. You're like, if I decided to make a movie on going to Kathmandu and my only knowledge is the week I went there one time, it's my knowledge of their culture is going to be much different than somebody who is born in the culture and how they represent it. And to be honest, I think Sofia, she does romanticize certain parts of it, but I don't think she does an offensive job. I think she does it justice, but it's supposed to be coming from these visitors' point of view. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it sort of functions as a travel log as well. So like anytime you see a travel log, you can't really get too deep into where you are. I mean, you can kind of, they explain a little bit. They go to shrines, they go to like things like that are in like the flower ceremony and things like the flower arrangement ceremony and stuff, which are like legit things that you do. But it's definitely like you're getting bits and pieces and glimpses as to what things are like here. I don't think the movie is trying to say like, well, this is what it's like. We got it in a week. I mean, I do think it's a fair criticism of the movie. I just, in the way that I receive the movie and the way that the movie makes me feel about what I'm seeing, I don't feel that way. Like I don't react in the same way as people that would criticize it for those things would feel. If that makes sense. Yeah. No.
I get it. Yeah. I guess my experience there, I don't even know how to say this. Like, I don't feel the same way as they do, but I understand those experiences, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So to me, from an outsider point of view, it makes sense. But from an insider point of view, it's probably just like, you got shit wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that's with anything.
Yeah. And I think it also, like, the movie kind of painstakingly shows different aspects of things, like different things that Charlotte does. She'll go to the shrine, she'll go to the flower arrangement, and then she'll meet up with some friends, and they'll go to like an arcade and a karaoke bar, and like it's sort of different facets, and it is showing different areas of the culture. Like, it is very different, high and low, that she's doing, right?
But that's what you do when you're a tourist. You do the things. Like, I've heard about their arcades, and I've heard about their shrines, and that's what you do, right?
Sure.
So within the movie, you see the different places she goes. Where did you go when you were in Japan?
Well, I went to the Scramble Crossing of Shibuya.
Of course, yes.
So I did that. I mean, are we talking about things that were in this movie that I went to, or just in general?
Well, in general, and if they were in this movie, it's a plus.
I think the only place that I went to was the Scramble Crossing. Granted, that's the most like iconic and easily figure outable like thing that they've done. I mean, I did go to shrines and things like that, just to kind of like walk around. I walked a lot. I did some record shopping. I ate a lot of noodles.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I think just going back to, like, nobody talked to me the whole time. It was amazing. I have a lot of anxiety about speaking to people that don't speak the same language as me, just based on the way that I grew up. And so I'm like, this is amazing. I could just get it from a vending machine. I can hit the little button, gives me a ticket. I give a ticket to a person. They don't say a word. It's amazing.
And the food is so good.
And it was so good.
It's so good.
You would think that, like, me going to a random place and getting like a ticket from a machine with the food I want on it would not be good food, but it's so good.
Delicious. Yes. But the funny thing is, while I was in Japan, I didn't go to any shrines because I'm a horrible person. But I definitely did a bunch of touristy spots. So like the crossing, Harajuku, Ueno Park. Did
you go to Akihara as well, the electric town?
I did, yes. Oh. I actually went down there twice because one day I went through the wrong exit and I couldn't find it. And I just walked around some random area. That's how I know people laugh at you when you try to talk their language. Because like I had like a book with me that had like phrases, and I'd be like, how do I get to Akihabara? And they'd be like, ha 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 ha. And I was like, why are you laughing at me? Just point in a direction, please. And then they just whisper at each other. And I was like, did I say it wrong? I was like, I don't even know. And then I just walk away. It was great.
Oh, yeah. No, I had to have somebody did have to help me in a sushi restaurant once.
Yeah.
It was it was a conveyor belt sushi place. And I just didn't understand that I had to sit at a specific place because I got like a number and I was like, what does this number mean? And then, like, first of all, everyone there was so nice to me. Because I'm so obviously stupid there, that there's like, no, you do the thing. And he like pointed his number and then the thing on the thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And by the way, the sweetest, like most beautiful couple of like, they looked like they were from like a J-pop drama.
Okay.
Like they were both just like in my head, he was like wearing a suit and she was wearing like a white dress and it was just like perfect. And then
for some reason, like cherry blossoms were just falling around them all the time.
It was, they were just like very beautiful people. And then help this dumb idiot that didn't know where to sit to get food.
Yes.
I also went to the Studio Ghibli Museum.
Okay.
That was fun.
I don't know if that existed in 2007. Did I don't know.
Not sure. It's not in Tokyo proper. It's a bit outside the city.
Well, yeah, like I went out to like I had no problem taking the trains and stuff. So like I went out to like Ueno and stuff where it's the area where they actually like shoot all like the game shows and stuff, and we tried to get into it and we couldn't.
Oh, okay.
But then there was like this crazy like indoor mall that was set up like if it was Venice. And so the middle was painted blue and the top was like clouds and stuff. And the walls were all painted to look like stones and rocks.
Sorry, are you sure you weren't in Las Vegas?
I was not. I promise.
You were not in Las Vegas, because that is like, there is a Caesar's Palace Mall that you're describing.
Well,
it's exactly the same.
Maybe it's owned by the same people. Who knows? But it was all
possible.
like fancy stores like Versace and all that kind of stuff in there. That's all that was in there. And I was like, I can't buy anything, but I'll touch all this stuff. Sure.
Cool.
Yes.
I don't think I went to any mall. I went to like an underground city. Like under like Tokyo Station in Tokyo.
Oh, I was down there. Yes. Yeah.
I got lost there looking for a noodle place for 40 minutes.
The funny thing is I only ate there twice. And once I was an Italian place, which was the thing that drives me crazy is they want to put an egg on top of everything. And so any pasta dish I ordered, they wanted to put an egg on it. I was like, and I was trying to say no egg the whole time. And I got an egg on it.
I'm going, no. Give me more tamago, baby. More tamago.
I hated it so much.
I love eggs on everything. I love, like, have you had Wendy's breakfast yet?
No.
So you can get a Baconator with an egg on it, and it's amazing.
It's not a like, no,
not like a runny egg. It's like it's like a McMuffin egg.
That's fine. No, that's my thing. I don't want a runny egg. I don't want a raw egg. I don't know people who have like the soft boiled egg and they crack open and they dip toast in it. That is nauseating to me. Ugh.
If I'm at a ramen place, I will order the egg a special. If it doesn't come with an egg, I'm adding an egg in. I love it. It's so good.
No,
but not even soft boil. Like, you don't like a runny yolk ever? No, you want a hard boil egg?
Yes, it has to be cooked. I want it.
Oh, cooked. Okay.
Yes.
Oh no. I mean, I don't like a cloud. I don't like the cloudy white. Yeah. Like I want the white to be solid, but I like that runny yolk. Gotta get that runny yolk.
Like, you know, when you see like cooking shows and they have like the poached egg and stuff, they're like, and then they put it on something, it looks all pretty, and then they cut into the egg, and then like the stuff oozes out over it. I'm just like, and I will never eat that. Throw away.
Nope, give those eggs to me.
No.
More tamago. They love it. They have that character like that. I think it's a Japanese character, right? The lazy egg guy.
Oh yes,
yeah. He's on everything.
Is he Japanese? Maybe, I don't know.
He was when I was. I'll say I don't know if he's a Japanese or not, but he was on so many things when I was in Japan. He was very popular. Well,
I find there's cute things of everything on everything.
Mm-hmm. I'm on board.
That just seems to be a thing. Yes.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I mean, it's sort of like the thing with this movie is like, if you think weird is good, it's great. Like you're on board with like, what are you talking about? Like weird being bad. Like it's I when I say something's weird, it means it's great.
Yes.
So like I think that's sort of like the central crux of the movie too, because it's sort of like it is an other experience, right? Like it is showing these people as being different, but I think that the different is what makes that and the culture interesting to me. Like that's my entry point.
I don't think they actually show anything that weird in this movie. That's not the really thing. Like no. I think the people are confused and feel out of place. Yes. Yeah. But they don't show the weird stuff in Japan. Like that. Yeah, right. The stuff they showed was pretty normal. They just didn't understand it. Like being at a photo shoot or shooting a commercial and having a director yell at you is pretty normal, but he just didn't understand. Or, you're right. It
doesn't really portray it as being that different. I kind of never thought of that.
No,
it's not. I mean, they just go to like karaoke bars. They'll go to like the arcades are different, but like all that stuff is really cosmetic differences more than anything.
Yeah, like one thing with Japanese arcades is that most of their games they're all like movement based. Like you have to move your whole body. Right. Compared to here where, you had Dance Dance Revolution, which was like 90% of it. But everything is just like the joystick and the button. So you just stood still. Yeah, like there's just like, it's a lot of music stuff. It's a lot of like actions and all that kind of stuff based.
Did you go to that big arcade in Kawasaki?
No, I didn't make it to Kawasaki.
So I did that.
Yes.
that is the closest I've been to like, I don't know what the hell is happening.
I think the thing too is that a lot of those places are a sensory overload spaces, like because they're so loud, there's so many lights, everything's flashing at you. There's lots of movement in general, not just from the games, but people moving around and stuff. And also when you don't know the language, you just hear things yelling at you and stuff. And you're just like, I don't know what to do, is the automatic reaction.
Well, like, I mean, I've not gone to a ton of arcades in my life. I've been to some. And I walk into this place and it's awesome. Like it's decked out with all this like cool like theme stuff. Like it's all steampunked out and all that kind of stuff. And there's a bunch of games and things. And I'm like, just the most banal thing, which is like, does this take money or does this take token? And I still don't know. I never figured it out.
Yeah.
I did end up going to a machine, putting 1,000 yen in, and I got like a bucket full of things. And I went, okay, does this go to the video games? Or what is this? And it turned out it was for one of those machines. Like you know those games where you like drop tokens in and then it like pushes them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like those kind of games.
Okay.
So I just played those for like 2 hours because I had a bucket full of tokens.
And you're just like, I don't know how to walk around with this shit.
I'm like, I just got to burn these. And I kept winning more.
No, but I think the tokens you can put back in the machine and get money back.
What? Yeah. No, there's no way that that's true.
Well,
I lost so much fucking money because of that.
Like that's what those things are for. Like the thing where the coins come off is that's like it's like roulette almost. It's like you put a thing in, you get money back out of it. You just exchange.
Well, apparently I was gambling and didn't know. So
yeah, because the funny thing is you're not allowed to gamble in Japan. But they have, what is it? Is it called pachinko? What is it called?
Yeah, pachinko.
Yeah, pachinko.
Those are definitely in this movie. They have the pachinko halls.
Yeah, they have the pachinko halls and they have those, but you're not allowed to use money in it.
Right.
So it's not considered gambling, but you use coins that you can exchange for money.
So what you're saying is they fooled me like the government.
Yes. So you lost your money for no reason.
That's true. I really didn't know that. That's so funny. I would have gotten it back too. Yeah. I would have done it. Instead I just look like a degenerate who just lost all his money.
They're like, that's like $6,000.
Yeah. And I'm like, I just gotta do it. Well, they had all these like elaborate things too. Like, I don't know, those games are really, I had a good time doing it, but I thought it was just like, well, I guess I'm just paying to play this more.
This thing. Yeah. 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 No, I went into, where was that? I don't know. I went to like so many random places because like, so one of the things is we'd have schools in different areas. So I just go to like a different school, like every week or a couple of weeks or something. And so I'd be in different areas. And so like one of the schools I was at was, I think they call it like, jokingly call it like the poop building or something. The beer. It's a place where it's a beer company and they have this building that looks like it's supposed to look like a mug with a drop of alcohol, like a drop of beer going into the top. So it's gold at the top, right?
I don't want to be too much of like a white person, but like they are light years ahead of us. That's amazing.
Yeah. But the
all our buildings should be things.
So, but the thing is that due to building regulations, they couldn't have the drop going straight down. So they laid it on the side. So it looks like a golden turd at the top of the building. Okay. So yeah, I saw that. I was like across the street from that building was one of the schools I was in. I just, with golden poop. Let's
yeah, see. I'm sure that'll come up with the first. I'm sure the first result will be that.
It is. It's
I just searched golden poop. Oh, cool. That building I found I was near in Japan. First result.
I put beer building with golden poo.
Okay, there you go.
It's okay. And it's the Ashai Beer Hall is what it's called. And yeah, it just looks like it looks like a turd on the top of it. That's it. And yeah,
I just think it's funny that you put in like the idea that you put in such a vague thing for it would be like if I was to like Google like what is the what's the origin of the term booby trap? Well, I'll just write in booby and see if that comes up as anything. Maybe that'll tell me the answer I need.
Yes. Well, for that one specifically, you do have to have on your filters. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Scandal.
I think even then it wouldn't work. I feel like if boobs would still get through. Like if you just wrote boobies into Google.
They're like female mammary glands.
Yeah,
like,
it would show you a bird. Like one of those booby birds with the weird feet.
It's the blue-footed booby?
Is that what it's called? Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a research project on titmice, so.
Isn't a titmouse a bird? Which I always thought was weird.
Is it?
I think so.
So is it titmouses then?
No, I think it's just called a titmouse.
But what's the plural?
Yeah, no, a titmouse is a bird. It's a tuft titmouse.
Tufted titmouse.
Yeah.
That is actually quite fun to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the funny thing is the only reason why I ever looked that up was because there's that animation company called Titmouse, and they do like a whole bunch of stuff, but their logo is a bird, and I was like, why the fuck is it a bird? Yeah. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, a titmouse is a bird. It's not a rodent.
They do a weird amount of like children's shows too.
Yes, they do. I mean, I guess it's funny sounding, but
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Makes more sense when it's on like a teen to adult show, but when it's on a show for 8-year-olds, you're like, feels like a weird joke for the end of the show.
But they've done they do that Netflix show with the hormone demons and stuff.
Oh, they do Big Mouth.
Big Mouth, there we go. Yes.
Yeah. No, that works for that show, totally.
Totally, yeah. Anyways, why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, the poop building. Sorry.
Poop building.
Yes.
Also something you shouldn't Google.
Don't just put poop building. Please don't.
Sorry. Filters off, please.
Okay. So apparently I made a mistake. I always thought it was supposed to be a beer drop, but apparently it's supposed to be a flame.
Okay. Those are different things.
Those are very different things. Yeah, it's colloquially referred to as the golden turd. It's what is it? Kin no unko. It's apparently how you say it in Japanese.
I think my favorite English thing that I saw in Japan, it was the day I was leaving, and there was a place that had on the outside of the building, it said romance slots.
Wait, hold on. That just makes me think it's like a room with glory holes. Like,
I don't know what that was. I'm assuming that it was some sort of betting parlor.
Okay. You never know.
But I took a picture.
Yeah.
And went, I need to get on my train.
Yeah. One of the funniest thing I found about there is that a lot of places played North American music, like English music.
Yes.
With English lyrics and stuff. And they'd play like hip hop and all that kind of stuff with no idea. Like I'd walk into like a kid's shoe store and, I'd be like, motherfucking nay, just like, what is, these are children.
Oh.
But then they have no idea what they're saying. So to them, it's just noise.
So Childish Gambino's This Is America was big the year I went.
Did they play it everywhere?
100%.
Love it.
And I went, this feels wrong.
So wrong.
That's a cool leather jacket, but
yeah,
that's sort of not a happy song, man.
No, not at all. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yes. There were so many like language things that I found very entertaining. Like I would tell people I'm from Toronto, and for some reason they would drop the O all the time. So they'd be like, you're from Toronto. And I'm like, no, it's Toronto.
You know what? I'd let him get away with it.
I mean, my job my job was to teach them English. I wasn't allowed to let them get away with it.
Well, okay. So to you, how does this movie is a romantic comedy?
Yeah.
In a way, how does it function for you as that?
It doesn't. function as a romantic comedy. When I think about the romantic part, I get grossed out already because of the ages. But I also, I mean, there is definitely a connection between the two characters being presented on screen. But until this watching, I have always thought of it more as she is looking at him as a father figure, not as a love interest. And he's not really a dirty old man, but like again, midlife crisis. I'm looking for somebody younger kind of thing, which they brought up several times. But when I looked at it this time, until the very end, really, I see it as like two friends. Yeah. Being friends.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it's romance without any sexuality.
Yeah, like it's like a platonic romance. Then,
yes, I guess, which I personally I find that to be that's why I like this movie so much. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great line. I think that's a really great, interesting relationship too, where it's sort of like they have feelings for each other that may or may not be romantic. They neither of them are planning on acting on it. It sort of blows up when he has an affair with the lounge singer.
Yes.
And she's rather mad about that, which I think is also a really interesting emotion to show as well.
Well, I think she's mad about it because I think it's more along the lines of somebody's playing with a toy that is mine level. Right. You know what I mean? That kind of just like, no, I thought we were friends. I thought we were doing stuff together.
Yeah.
I don't think at that point she's like, I want to have sex with you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I was planning on it. It was more along like, oh, you're busy. You're making time for me though. Like I thought this is what we were doing.
I thought of it as like, I thought it was like she was hurt because he didn't try with her. Like he wasn't trying. He never made a move on her or anything like that, and she felt rejected by him, even though she didn't want it. Yeah. Like, do you ever meet a significant other of a friend of yours of the opposite sex? Mm-hmm. And like I have two, and I go like, the fuck is this dude? Like it was sort of like, you get a little bit like it's not like it's not an emotion I'm proud of, but you get a little territorial about it.
You do.
Which is not something that you usually see in movies. Like I don't think either one of them was trying to bed the other one in this movie at all.
I think at first I don't think she was at all. Like I don't think she had the feelings, but she wasn't actively trying to. No. But I think at first he was just like, ooh, this young hot here and staring at me. But then that cooled down. Yeah. And I thought that was really obvious in the scene. The scene where I know this sounds weird, but they were lying in bed together, like they couldn't sleep and they were watching a movie and they're just talking to each other. And so the shot pulls out from their faces and shows like above the bed. Yeah. And he's lying in a straight line and she's like curled up with her feet against him, sort of creating that barrier. And I think that was like it was.
He grabs her foot at the end.
Yeah, like
I personally found that to be just a beautiful moment. Like it's an intimacy thing, not like a sexuality thing.
Well, exactly, right? Because I think like the way he pats her foot, at first I think he puts it there to be like, ooh, hot. But then it immediately turns into like a, hey kiddo, I believe in you and you're gonna be great. Yeah. And she's just comfortable enough that she can sleep finally. Yeah.
I didn't think of that. Oh my God. So good.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful that they could sleep.
Yeah. And like that was the whole thing. Like their whole friendship started because they kept bumping into each other at weird hours because they couldn't sleep. And they finally slept. Like that's the moment they start being able to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's incredible. I never put that together before. That's amazing. Yeah. Makes me like this movie so much more. 6 stars.
But I also think because of the way she's positioned, she feels the emotion and she doesn't want this to be ruined by anything. So she like physically puts herself in a position where he can't do anything without being like obtrusive about it. Okay. But that also makes the moment sweeter because he really doesn't try to as well.
Yeah. I don't think that he, I mean, I never picked up that he was, I mean, they're definitely dating. That is definitely, they're definitely going on dates. Like that is 100% what is happening. But you're taking out, I always saw it as like, yeah, but they're not going to act on any of this. Like it's just that they're just enjoying each other's time and helping each other.
Well, I think on her side is because she's married and she's newly married, and I think she has a moral compass that keeps her in the I'm not going to cheat on my husband bracket. Even though there's definitely a point where she's just like, I like this old man.
Yeah. I mean, it's the portrayal of intimacy and love in this movie. I adore. I think that it's so great that there's a romantic comedy that's about romance, not about like, are they gonna do it? Like, because that's really what most of these movies are, right? Yeah. It's like, is Matthew McConaughey gonna bang that girl?
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of things that people consider romance or consider intimacy is sex based.
Yeah.
And that is also one of the reasons why this is a good movie, is that they're like, no, this is a very intimate, very personable, it's a very deep relationship, but there's no sex involved. And that's one of the things that makes it good. It's not ruined at the end. Like if they ruined it at the end with them getting it on and then him leaving, I'd have been like, well, now you've just ruined the whole thing. You know what I mean?
I kind of think the kiss at the end is not a sexual kiss. Like I think it is just like them acknowledging that they love each other and then they're not going to see each other ever again. Like that's the way I interpret that.
Yeah, but I don't think it was necessary to be on the lips the way it was.
Sure.
Like I just think you can hug a person, you can kiss them on the cheek. Like I have lots of friends that that I don't see very often and stuff, but I don't make out with them when they're leaving.
Oh, no God,
matter how much I care about them and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So to me, the kiss sort of, we know nothing's gonna go past it, but it does cross a certain line.
Yeah. No, 100% it crosses a line. Yeah. But I think that it's more of an acknowledgement that they've already crossed it. You know what I mean? But like in an emotional way. Yeah, because they're having an emotional affair. They're not having a sexual affair.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it has to do with the fact that her husband is, at that point in time, he's physically gone. He's on a 3-day trip and is going to come back.
Yeah.
But already before that, he's been so busy that she's had nobody to talk to, nobody to connect with, nobody to do things with.
My theory is that she will divorce him about a year later and then, date the dude from Phoenix.
Yeah. Maybe.
As I was watching this movie and I was adoring the love story between these two people that are broken and not having sex with each other, I was like, oh, what have I seen this before? So there's this movie. It's called In the Mood for Love, which is a Wong Kar-wai movie from 2000. And I actually watched it right before we sat down because I was like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time and I want to talk about it because I think it's a good topic to talk about. So it's about these two people that they're sort of neighbors, like they live in sort of these big houses like that are next to each other but share a hallway. I don't really know how the geography of the place works. Okay. But they found out that their husband / their wife are having an affair with each other.
Oh, okay.
So and then they form a relationship as well. And it's a similar relationship to what we're seeing here, where it's like there's definitely feelings for each other. They definitely love each other. I think he's more into like the idea of them actually getting together, but she doesn't. And it's sort of like this great kind of push and pull between them, and once again, another intimate relationship without sort of that, when are they going to bone? That so many of these movies have. I really like kind of sad love stories, I guess. Yeah. It's sort of my thing. I like a melancholy ennui. With like Punch Drunk Love. Like there's a sadness that goes through Punch Drunk Love, and it's just these people that aren't happy, and then they find each other, and they're not necessarily way better, but at least they have each other, kind of stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
Well, I think that's what most love stories are about, is just finding that person to be with through things, right? Well, I guess we all kind of do that. That's just how the world works. But what's good about like movies like Punch Drunk Love and stuff is that you have these quote unquote weirdos. They call him a weirdo in the movie. That's why I use that word.
Adam Sandler. No.
What? But like, it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, whether you fit in, whether you don't fit in, whether you're a little kooky, whether you're whatever, it doesn't matter what other people see on the outside, is that this is the person for you, and they get you, and they are the one who will go on things with you. And I think that's why this movie, and I have not seen In the Mood for Love, so I cannot comment.
I highly recommend it.
I have already brought it up on my screen. I will have to look for that one.
Best costumes of any movie ever.
Of any movie ever?
I think so. The way that she is dressed in this movie is incredible. Mm-hmm. Like her dresses are just, first of all, she has so many. Yes. Because that's how you sort of can note how like there are different days. Mm-hmm. Like there are scenes that mix together, but she's wearing different clothes. So like this has been going on a long time because she's changed several times in that time. But all of her dresses are incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to have a look at that. I do love a good basic, like something that should be simple but looks amazing. You know what I mean? Like
this movie looks like a painting.
Oh,
it's so good.
I'm probably going to spend half the first watch. I'm going to spend half the movie going, oh, that dress is, oh my God, is that embroidery? Wow.
It also takes place in like 1962. So like everybody has these incredible looks.
Yeah. That is one thing I do miss about that time period in film, is that the looks were immaculate.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this movie does that really well.
It was sexist and it was racist, but damn, they look good doing it.
Yeah. No, those, Cary Grant looks really good. Like, it's just sort of like, man, that old white man that looks like a tree looks amazing.
Yes. But what was I saying? Oh, wait, no. What was I saying? I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
No, it's okay. Well, we were kind of talking about like these movies where there's kind of like quote unquote weirdos or kind of off the beaten path kind of people. And I think that is one of the, like, Lost in Translation is definitely one of those. I don't think them they're necessarily weirdos. They're not the best people. No, neither of them are very good.
Yeah, but I think it's just that they are two people in the same place, both in their mind and physically, that connect to each other. And that's why, I mean, I think they're trying to say, like, yes, age doesn't quote unquote matter. Sometimes people connect no matter how old they are, but it's uncomfortable at certain points. Yes.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I don't know if the movie's even. To me, the movie's not even saying that. It's just these people found each other. Like, it's not necessarily like, oh, age doesn't make any difference. Like, I kind of forget they're different ages in a way. Like, just because like, once again, there's very little physicality between them. Like, the most is like the kiss at the very end, and then he grabs her foot. As like a hand.
But to me, that's not really what it is. I think it more has to do with the environments that they end up in together. Like when she takes him out with her friends and they're at like the party and stuff, and she leaves him alone. It's not the fact that he's old in the crowd. It's more the fact that he's just like, it's loud and there's lights. And I'm like, oh, that makes you old. Like, if you know what it, like, I just think he comes across as so much older than her.
Sure.
Whether there's interaction with them or not. Yeah. There's like a maturity level to his character that makes me be like, they're different. Like, I guess. If he was more immature, or like, like if he was really going through a midlife crisis and acting like a 20-year-old instead of a 50-year-old, then I've been like, I would probably get over it easier. But you see that he's much more mature than she is, and much more worldly than he is in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't think he's taking advantage of her in any way, though.
Oh,
like, I don't think that
no.
he's like tricking her into thinking that he's anything but he is. In fact, she's the one that calls him to task for having a midlife crisis constantly.
Yes.
Which is it. I mean, she is snotty. Like, that is 100%. She is what she is accused of, and he is also having a midlife crisis, and is what he is accused of being. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get quite dirty old man vibes from him. Because as I said, it was I felt very sweet to me. Like, it's
like when I say that, like, I don't get dirty old man from him. There's only like 2 scenes where I'm just like, ugh. But that's before they even actually meet each other. Like, because he's like leering across at her in a couple of scenes before they actually talk to one another.
Well, maybe that was like what you were talking about. It's like he heard somebody speaking English.
Maybe that's exactly what it is. But it comes but he comes across as like, ooh, I heard it, I'm looking, and it's a hot young girl, and she smiled at me. So like, that's how that scene came across. But later on, when they talk to each other, and I think he realizes that she's like intelligent and not trying to do anything. Because like, and this is compared to, the scene right at the end before he gets into his limo, and that blonde girl at the elevator comes out and like walks directly to him. She's like, oh my God, like, but she's very like sultry and like, I don't care who you're talking to, I'm going to interrupt you because I'm important. Way. Like, I think he was expecting that from her. Not the intel, like, because the way she talks to him is more like she doesn't know who he is or anything. He's just a man at the bar. And I think maybe he was thinking that she's like, oh, he's famous, what can I do here? Maybe that's what he was expecting.
The way I'm thinking about it now, is that, so like, that was that scene that you're talking about when he's looking at her across the bar. That's when she's with her husband and Anna Faris and another guy, right? Like, that's that scene.
No, so there's 2 scenes before. So he sees her on the elevator. What was the other? He saw her he sees her at the bar twice. He sees her at the bar twice. And the first time is she's alone and looks up. She doesn't see him, but he sees her, and he keeps staring at her. And then the second time is when she's at the bar with Anna Faris being all loud and stuff with her husband.
I thought that was like him watching because he's like, oh, she is not enjoying this. Like, that's how I would be watching this, is like, oh, that table is really obnoxious. Oh, there's one person that is not into that. So I'm going to watch that happen for a while. Like, it's just watching somebody, and like, they're doing show business talk, right?
Yeah.
And like talking about like all these different things, and a guy that may or may not be a Beastie Boy talking to her about like doing different hip hop beats and stuff like that. And then like, I'm sure like Bob has been at a million of those tables where they have to talk about like showbiz talk and all these people being all excited, and it's like, those are the worst. Like, it's just these people that just like hate everybody that's around them. And just like, and understand that like all of this is empty. And they're looking for connection, and we're looking for some sort of meaningful thing, which is why like she's going to shrines and things like that, and she's crying because she doesn't feel anything from them. It's because she doesn't feel like she belongs anywhere. Like, she thought that this would be something that could be fulfilling to her, and is not.
That is very true. Sorry, I'm just looking up who directed the Intergalactic video.
Oh, that is under a pseudonym. It's Yuck, I think. It's Adam Yuck, but under like Sir P.A. Pennybaker or something, like some weird pen name.
Sorry, I just got distracted for a millisecond. Yes.
Oh, that's fine. Spike Jonze directed the Sabotage video.
That's the one he directed. Okay.
Yep,
I knew he directed one of them. I was like, but then you mentioned it, and I was just like, wait, did he direct Intergalactic? Because they did actually film it in Japan in the late 90s. And I was like, oh.
So, I read Kim Gordon's book, which is, she's in Sonic Youth.
Okay.
And so she has a scene where she talks about being in Japan with a newborn baby and hanging out with Sofia Coppola and one of the Beastie Boys. And she's there doing like a photo, and they're there doing like fashion week or something.
Oh my God, with a newborn baby. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's the one
Coco.
thing. That's the one thing I never like. They showed like Rihanna going to Fashion Week, all big bellied and half naked. And
you mean the goddess, the first person to ever have a baby in the world?
Yes, of the world, of the world. And she's just like there in heels, and I'm just like, I don't even know. I can't stand on heels without extra weight on my body. I don't know how you're doing this without like just tipping over. This is the thing I don't understand. Yes,
I think she has a team that is make sure that she doesn't fall over. They airbrush all the wires out.
She's actually a marionette right now. They're just, like, keeping her up.
She's in the new Doctor Strange. They just put her in there. She flies around.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I did write that. That was one of my few notes. It's like, is that one of the Beastie Boys?
Right. I don't even have any.
And I think that's her like Fred. So like that seems like it's probably not cool for her to like portray him that way. Asshole.
I did. I couldn't find out what it was, but I think it was SNL. Because there's a couple of like his movie clips that come up throughout the movie because he's like, coming across like his old movies and stuff.
Oh, I looked that one. I looked one up, or I read one. Did I write it down? Oh yeah. Matthew's best hit TV. That's the one with the monkey.
No. That is not what that is.
What?
Because
stupid Reddit. God damn it.
No, I was looking up too, and it kept saying that. But on this disc, there's a special. There's a featurette thing, and the Matthew's best TV thing is the Japanese talk show host.
Oh,
they actually show like his appearance on the show on it. That's what that is.
Oh, okay.
Because I kept looking at it, that kept coming up, and I'm like, I know for a fact that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there was one thing where they were saying like they think it's a clip from several movies, and like one clip is from what movies did they say? One clip was from actually SNL, and then a random monkey clip, and then a random car chase clip, and I was like,
fair enough.
So that because it's not like a real movie, it's just like,
right. I tried to also find out what the samurai movie that he watches for like 3 seconds was.
Yeah. I
couldn't find that either.
No.
It looked like could have been a Kurosawa, but that could have just been me going like, they probably used a Kurosawa.
It's black and white and it's samurai. Kurosawa.
Yeah, there's a million of them. I shouldn't say that it was probably that, but it looked like it, maybe.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah.
The other thing I noted is one thing I remember in Japan that used to drive me crazy was so her smoking indoors. I was just like, oh, because that's not a thing anymore. But while I was in Japan, people never smoked outside.
Yes, they have. Yeah. There's places you walk into.
Yeah. But not just places. Well, when I was there, it wasn't pods. It was just like, if you're in a restaurant or if you're you're walking in a mall or whatever, you smoke indoors because that's where they have the receptacles for like your butts, because finding cigarette butts on the street was like disgusting. Like it was like the worst thing ever.
There were not any cigarette butts on the street. You're right.
Yeah. No, I don't like, they keep that city so clean and there's no garbage cans anywhere.
No, that's true. I had to hold my garbage for such a long time.
Yeah.
No, that when I remember going around in like train stations and stuff, and there would be like a room you go into, and that's where all the smokers were. And it was just like, oh, that's so gross.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like it's so much grosser to me than like smoking in general. Just being in a room filled with smokers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you're surrounded by smoke. Everybody else is blowing smoke on you. It's just everywhere and in everything. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah. No, that's not. I'm really happy I never picked up that habit.
Yeah, me too.
But it's crazy when you remember that people used to smoke inside. I remember people smoking at the mall, like walking around the mall smoking. Yeah. That's insane to me now. Like imagine seeing a person smoking inside now. You'd be like, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Well, that's the thing that drives me crazy about vapors. Like I would be on like the subway or something and some kid just smoking a vape. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I am one of those people now. I don't know if this makes me old or not, but I will try and be like, no. I have done that before. I have gotten scowled at, but they stopped. Just saying.
I really want to just be like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even want to be like, tell them to stop. I just want to question them. like, what's going on in your mind? Why aren't you wearing headphones?
What is this? What is happening here?
Well, I want to critique their whole deal.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to just be like, no, you're doing something. I don't want to hit them with a newspaper. No. I want them to question their existence. I want them to go like, why am I like this? I want them to feel what I feel for 1 second.
Yes. You see this? You see how you're feeling horrible and uncomfortable about this?
This is my life.
This is it.
Welcome to me.
So talking about uncomfortable things. So I think I'd mentioned to you there was a connection in this movie that I thought was really interesting and hilarious. So there's a part where Scarlett Johansson, she's on a train going somewhere and she's standing beside a guy who's reading a manga.
Yes.
But it's like a naked girl and she's like, ooh, that's Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So, and as we know,
I've seen about 10 minutes of that movie. Lots of boobies.
Yeah. But she also played the character in like the
I forgot one. She's in that. I already made a joke about it too. Exactly. It's so stupid.
So I was just like, haha, that's really funny. So that's
I've seen the cartoon. I have not seen the live action one
at
all.
It's not good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Like no, I'm sure not.
I mean, it's visually stunning. It's a very pretty and electric-y looking and all that kind of stuff, but they chop up the story so bad that it just no.
I haven't seen my anime knowledge is terrible. I've seen maybe half of Akira and maybe the first 10 minutes of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of Miyazaki's, but I don't consider those to be anime. Mm-hmm. Those are just cartoons or animated films that touch my soul. Yeah. And like what are the other like big ones like Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yeah.
whatever that bunch of whatever that bunch of syllables in a row is.
Then there's the one with like the weird giants in it. What's that one called?
Demon Slayer. No, that's another one that's popular. Attack on Titan.
Yes, Attack on Titan. That one I've never watched, so I don't like. I just keep seeing like pictures of like this giant thing that has no skin, and I'm just like, ugh. Right. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, I am not an anime person. As a white person that went to Japan, though, I think everybody thought I was. Like, I'm pretty sure every Japanese person saw I was like, that guy's a pervert.
It's a cool place to go.
No, I'm sure. I did see some dudes and I'm like, that guy's super into anime. I know it. I know that dude's super into anime.
That's why he's here.
He's here with me and looks like me. Fucking pervert.
Yeah. I don't know what people thought about me. I don't know. It's fine. I used to be into anime in my teens and I kind of gave up on it really quickly. Well, actually not really that quickly. It was like 5 or 6 years I was into it. But I think the type of storytelling just kind of like pushed me out of it really quickly. But
everything I've heard is that it is bonkers town. I've seen the ones that are like those are like the mainstay that are like the like really good cinema ones. Like Akira is very high regarded, right?
I don't like that movie.
You didn't like that one? Okay.
No.
I like that it takes place in like Neo Tokyo 2021 or whatever, or 2020
it's 2020 and
it's 2020.
And the Olympics in Japan have been canceled, and that is exactly what happened. So
that is weird.
It was very, very odd.
I put that on by chance on New Year's Eve of 2020.
No,
I did. I was like, oh, you know what? It's just after midnight. I'll put on Akira, see what that's like. And it's like the setting is just like Neo Tokyo 2020. I'm like, that's now.
Yes,
that's tonight.
I know. It's crazy.
Well, it's the same with like Blade Runner or whatever, right? Where it like takes place in like 2015 or something.
2017.
Takes place 2017. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that the sequel to Blade Runner 2049, is the future from the other one.
Yes.
It doesn't change things around.
Hold on. No, I'm incorrect. The first one takes place in 2019, but the replicants, they were born in 2017. That's what.
There you go.
Boom.
Oh yeah, because they're reaching their terminal age.
Terminal date. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Oh God, that movie's good.
But what's funny about that
I love that they keep in all the old corporations for the new one. It's so like Pan Am is like there, and I'm like, that hasn't existed in 20 years.
You don't
30
know.
years.
Yeah. One thing I did love about that movie, the 2049, is that they really paid attention to the original, and the visual representation of the new space makes sense. Like they didn't forget the originating material, like tone wise, visual wise, sound wise. You're like, no, this actually feels and look like a continuation of that movie.
And they were able to get Jared Leto. Wow.
Yeah. When he came on screen though, I wanted to punch him. I was like, no. I
think that's most people's reaction when he does anything.
Yeah, that is a real problem with him these days. You're just
everyone's like, get him in a room with Ezra Miller.
Oh God.
Let's get these two together.
Oh, I mean, I started like the first thing I saw Ezra Miller in was we need to talk about Kevin, and he has creeped me out ever since. And I was recently starting to soften seeing him in public and doing stuff, and now this, and I was just like, I was right. I should have I mean, I'm not evil. I won't throw things at him or anything and be like, oh, you killed your sister in that movie with a bow and arrow. But
okay, I was like, wait, did I not hear any Ezra Miller things today? Did he murder somebody in Hawaii at a karaoke bar?
No, he probably punched somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that dude.
I love the karaoke scene in this movie. Yes, I think that karaoke scene is so good. And he sings the Roxy Music song, More Than This.
More Than This.
Which is sort of the theme of the movie, right? Like it's just this moment. That's all that. There's nothing else in the world between. So I that's another little fun, sweet thing.
Yeah, but I also think it is a reminder to the people in the film that you don't always have to think about the past or the future.
Yeah,
like live now kind of thing, and you can find joy in that.
Yeah.
That moment. Yeah.
And that's what it is. And that's why I think that the ending, which is quote unquote a sad ending because they don't end up together, I think that it's not sad at all. I don't think it's sad at all. No, I think it's like that they've sort of acknowledged that their time is done, but what they had together was great. And I think that's a really great way to end it. Right. Yes. Like it's sort of like, it's there. This is all that we wanted to have. Like we had each other for this period of time, and that's all we can hope for.
Yeah, you got to go home sometime, right? Kind of thing?
Yeah.
And you don't have to change your whole life for a person you met 4 days ago. Like, yeah, that's one of the things that also drives me crazy about a lot of romantic comedies. You're just like, I just met you. I love you. Let's do this crazy big thing together. So actually, now that I say that, the funny thing is that like while I was in Japan, both of these situations happened in like my friend group. So like this one girl, we were out and she met this guy, they went on a date, blah, blah, blah. There was no sex or anything involved. And they really liked each other, but he was there it was like his second to last day in the country. And, she was still staying in Japan, and they're like, I guess you're going home. And he went home, and that was it. And like, they had a really great time. It was a really great memory, and she loves it. But
that's very sweet. I think that's a pretty story.
Yeah, it's very sweet. But also, another girl in my friend group met a guy in my friend group. They got together, and she moved to Australia with him. It happens. Yeah.
Have you seen the Before trilogy?
Like Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, and
right. Before Midnight is the last one.
I have not seen Before Midnight. I did see the other two. Yes.
Okay. You should, first of all, you should see that one. It's a really interesting coda to that story.
Well, because don't they have in that? Well, it's been a while, so I've seen things, but don't they end up getting together and have kids and stuff in that one?
I mean, they already have.
Okay.
That's not like they've already like at the beginning of Before Midnight, they have 2 children and have been married for a while.
For a while, right? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, spoiler for everybody to that movie. But it's another one of these ones. It's very talky.
Yes. It's all talk. They walk around and talk to each other. That's the whole movie.
That's all 3 movies. It's 3 movies where they just walk around and talk. It's another one though that I swoon over, like because it's so romanticized in such a not real way. Yeah. It's a similar kind of thing where it's like they met each other in one night and they had this wonderful night together. They do end up hooking up on that first night, but yeah. Anyway, it's a cool. If you're into kind of a little bit offbeat romantic comedies, that is definitely.
I think the reason why people romanticize that one so much is because they don't they get it on and stuff, but they don't change their lives for each other. And they're like, on a half chance, let's meet here again in a few years. I'm like, okay. But then they're more mature and they have more options and they can do more things. And then they figure things out after that. Right. So it's not.
At the end of the second one, he's definitely, he leaves his wife.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad thing.
No. I mean, they're not great. Like a lot of these things, like they're not great. Like, I mean, Bill Murray cheats on his wife in this. I mean, she seems like a real piece of work though. So,
but I'm
just making a joke. They did not treat her very well at all.
No, they didn't. But what you're saying is correct, because while I was watching it, I was mad at his wife, but at the same time, I was just like, but these are the only small interactions you see with the wife. So you can't really form a proper opinion about her.
Yeah.
But you've spent so much time with Bill Murray's character that you like him, and you're like, why is this bitch being so bitchy? Yeah. But really, you really shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know if I felt that she was being bitchy. I felt that she just doesn't like him. It's sort of just like, they don't really like each other very much. She stopped saying I love you to him on the phone. Yeah. And all the little sounds like it must be nice. A lot of that kind of stuff.
To be honest, I actually think she is Scarlett Johansson's character in a few years. We're being with a husband who leaves her alone all the time.
Yeah, I can see that. That's totally true. I don't think that had Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson run off together, which would have been a terrible ending for this movie.
Terrible.
And would have amplified the ick factor by 1,000.
Yeah.
That I don't think that they would have been happy together.
No,
they could barely even handle 4 days together. They had a huge fight in the middle of it.
That is very true.
Also, he offers her one of the greatest burns. When she was was making passive aggressive jokes about him being with the lounge singer, and he says, what, was there nobody else to lavish you with attention?
Yes.
Oh. So it's such a good twist of the knife. It's just right under the rib.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's also why she wants to hang out with him, because he pays attention to her.
That's what I think what he's doing too. It's, I mean, not in I don't want to sound like I'm defending a dirty old man or anything, but a pretty lady paying attention to you is nice no matter what happens from it. It's a nice ego boost when somebody attractive is interested in you, not necessarily in a sexual way, but just shows you attention.
Yeah. People just being nice to you and, doing stuff for you is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just do find these 2 movies to be really interesting. I do have one last note to say.
Sure.
About the music in here, which I found very interesting.
In Lost in Translation.
I don't even know if it's interesting or if I just like this fact. Or it's not even a fact. It's just if you know James Bond and you know a song, then you know this thing. Because earlier on, when he's doing the photo shoot or the video or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, James Bond, do Roger Moore."
Yeah,
like that part. But at the end of the movie, Anna Faris's character is singing "Nobody Does It Better in the Lounge."
Oh yeah.
Which is the theme song from The Spy Who Loved Me, which starred Roger Moore.
It's true.
Yes.
I've actually been watching a few Roger Moore movies the last few days.
Okay.
I watched Live and Let Die today. And if we thought that the cultural representation in this movie was problematic, oh boy.
Yeah, you don't like the New Orleans voodoo drug lords. I
liked the New Orleans funeral. I thought those were cool. The voodoo stuff, though, oh my god, offensive. Like, whoa, not cool. Anybody? There's so much in that's just insane. So, going into this conversation, I was kind of like, yeah, it's not that though. Oh my god.
But the thing that I also find offensive about it is the fact that you have these like super black people in New Orleans, who have this like voodoo culture that they're using to drug run, and the person who what's her name in it? Oh my god.
Which one are we talking about? Solitaire?
Solitaire.
The only other white person.
Is
the white lady
is like the person who tells them their future and shit. I'm like, wouldn't she get like a black lady for it? But I guess they can have Roger Moore making out with a black woman. So
does he not? Yeah, he beds the double agent though. He sleeps with the black lady in that movie, I think.
Oh yeah, but she gets killed and she's a bad guy.
Oh
right?
Yeah, no,
yeah,
yes.
Okay, yes.
Oh no, every person of color in that movie is a bad guy.
Yes, is a bad person.
It is rough.
But also, she was Jane Seymour. That's her real name. She was super young when she made that movie. I think she was like 19 or 20.
Is she that one, or is she in another one, or is she in two?
No, in Live and Let Die.
Is Solitaire Jane Seymour?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think that was the case. I did not recognize her. I thought she was in the other one, Spy Who Loved Me.
No, she's Solitaire.
Oh, okay. I'm coloring correct.
It is, yeah, okay. I thought I was wrong for a second. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that was JC.
No, I very could be. I know she definitely is one. I get the Roger Moore ones confused so much. I don't like them. I don't like any of the Roger Moore movies. I've tried several times. Well,
my problem is that all of his so he's older than Sean Connery.
Yeah.
But all of his Bond girls are younger than any of the previous ones.
They feel a lot creepier too for some reason.
Well, because there's the one with like the rich girl he's trying to save, who's like a snow princess, but she keeps trying to sleep with him, and she's supposed to be like 17, and you're just like,
oh, I don't remember that.
Like it's very gross.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to a friend of mine, I think that the Roger Moore ones are worse in terms of like representation of gender and of race. And he was like, it's a toss-up between Connery and Moore. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I think the Connery ones are just so explicit about it that it's easy to be like, well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But in the Roger Moore ones, it feels like they're trying to have it both ways. And that feels much more nefarious to me. Yeah. Like, it's like all these women are these secret agents and are totally competent. And then every time they're like, oh, James, no. Like, they're just so passive and terrible at their job. Yeah. But they're supposed to be like these equals to him. But they're like, oh, no.
Yeah, but he also just like shoves them aside and smacks them. And they're just like,
oh, yeah, he hits a lot of women in those ones, too.
A lot of women. Yeah.
I mean, Connery hits his fair share as well.
Yeah.
On and off screen. But he's dead. He's not going to come after me. Yeah. He said it on TV.
Yeah. Well, that's how you keep them in line.
Yeah, sometimes they need a good smack. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yes.
I heard he's super cheap too.
I never heard that one, but sure. Yeah.
I have heard that he lives up to that stereotype.
Lived with a D.
That's correct.
Yes.
Outlived by several of his Bond ladies.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of finish up. I mean, I spent a good chunk of my watch of Lost in Translation trying to Shazam a song that is played in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that for a good 10 minutes. What's stupid is that the song plays again during the credits, when it was in the credits too. So I could have just like looked it up then.
Yeah.
But it was Kaze wo Atsumete by Happy End.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I know that song. How do I know that song? I'm like, oh, it's probably just on the Lost in Translation soundtrack, and that's why I know it.
Yeah, and you probably heard it a million times.
Probably. I mean, actually, one of the people in that band, I have a couple of his albums, actually. Hiromi Hosono. Isn't
there like a Japanese band leader dude in this movie who plays like her friend or something?
Oh, Charlie Brown? I don't know.
Yeah. I think I was looking up something that he was like in a band or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Do you know if you could look that up? I would be very interested to know.
Yes.
Also, we've watched more than one movie that goes to Japan where there is a guy named Charlie Brown.
Yes, I was actually thinking
because there's also a Charlie Brown in Kill Bill.
The funny thing is, the first time I heard him, like, is that the same guy? Was my first thought.
That would have been amazing.
No,
if it was the same guy, that would have been incredible. That would have been the weirdest joke in because Kill Bill was after, right? Like if Quentin Tarantino was like, I'm gonna get the guy from Lost in Translation to play the same character, that would have been amazing.
Okay, so apparently I read this completely wrong. His name is Fumihiro Hayashi. Mm-hmm. I want to say that's what his name is. As Charlie Brown, it says the singer of God Save the Queen, and I stopped right there. No,
okay.
It's in the karaoke scene. Is a longtime friend of Sofia Coppola, and her died in Japan. I just read things wrong. I have to finish reading whole sentences.
This movie is just about Sofia Coppola, Japan, right? Like there's so little boundary between Charlotte and Sofia Coppola.
Well, they she says, like, the movie is about her relationship with you've said
Spike Jonze.
Spike Jonze, like their early relationship while they were there, and like he was filming stuff and doing stuff, and she was just kind of lost there. So that's what the movie is, and I think she just like, I didn't meet some old star, or maybe she did, I don't know. But I'm going to write a story about me being lost in a place. Oh. So I think it's just her. Yeah.
And I'm like, I saw that there's an outfit that Charlotte wore in this movie where it's just like, it's a very normcore outfit actually, which there was like a sweater vest and like a button-up shirt underneath and like pants.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Sofia Coppola wear that exact outfit before. I'm pretty sure that that's just what she wears.
Yeah. I mean, I think they were, I don't have words for that. Never mind. I'm going to myself. But also I did find the thing about the kiss. It says it was an in the moment ad lib between the performers.
Right.
There you go.
So, I mean, not great that she was so young at the time. Mm-hmm. But I didn't interpret it as a sexual kiss. I thought it was of an acknowledgement of intimacy, and caring rather than, we're gonna bone.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I thought of it like they were gonna bone. I just think it crossed a line.
Yeah, I mean it did, mm-hmm. But I think it was sort of an acknowledgement that, like I think I said it before, that it was sort of like they had already gone too far. Like they had emotionally speaking had an affair with each other already, mm-hmm. And this was we're just going to acknowledge that and then leave.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah. There's nothing offensive. There's nothing dirty or anything about it. It was just like, oh, you've got a certain distance.
Like I kind of like, I think this might have been the first time, since I know she was so young when she made this, that I thought that was going to kind of trip me up a bit more in this. Mm-hmm. But I really get caught up in it. Like this, like it's just such a emotionally comforting movie to me in a weird way, that I get lost in it a little bit and kind of forget that. But it is definitely something that we should question.
Yes. Yeah. They do it way too often in a lot of films where. Yeah. It's I don't like crazy. It. I don't like it either. No, the only reason why I looked it up was because I was just like, oh, she looks so young in this movie, was just popped into my head as soon as she came on screen. And I was like, I wonder how old she was, because I don't think she's that old, and this was like 20 years ago. So
yeah.
But yeah, I was right. She was very
she's a little bit older than me. But not as much as I thought.
Yeah, she's a little bit younger than me. Not as much as I thought, though.
Yep.
True. So what are your final thoughts on these two movies? Recommend, don't recommend?
Well, I mean, I told some people that I was going to be on this and reviewing these two movies, and reaction was, what do those have in common? And I said, well, they both start with LO.
Yeah.
And so it was a disjointed experience. Lost in Translation is one of my all-time favorite movies. Problematic as it may be, it just occupies a very specific emotional space for me, and portrays an emotion that I don't feel is in movies as much as it could be. And I think that kind of feeling that it evokes is very strong to me, and I really think it does it in a smart and subtle way, and it is really great. Lord of War is a bit of a different beast. It sort of has that kind of aesthetic of like the early 2000s, kind of like post Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas kind of thing, where like everyone's crazy and like with like sort of like it has that frenetic energy that like Wolf of Wall Street has, where there's like a lot of like crazy camera shots and things like that. Definitely deals with some themes that are interesting. We talked about the military industrial complex and stuff, which is, I mean, our conversation, I think, made me like it a bit more. But some of the scripting stuff in there is a little odd. And voiceover narrations usually is a little bit of a crutch. I think it could have been like broken up a little bit more in kind of an interesting way. But kind of does some things that, you know, felt like a pop movie. You know, and dealt with a subject that was a little bit, tonally speaking, different from that. Yeah,
I agree with most of your points. Yes.
Okay, good, because we've been going for like 3.5 hours. So I hope you're like, yeah, I don't agree with anything you like what you just said, and I'm gonna go on this why now. Yes. Now that we've heard what you have to say, let's hear what I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I like both of these movies. They are not movies I will watch regularly, simply because Lost in Translation is a little too melancholy for me. Like, it'll put me in like a mood. Don't want to be in that mood. And Lord of War is a little too dark and violent on levels that I'm just like, I don't need to be in that space either. But they're both well done films that have aged not horribly, but definitely the cracks are showing with where they're what do I call it?
Where some blemishes are is sort of become a little bit more obvious over time. I totally agree with that.
But definitely, like, film people who want to watch like a movie, like a film, like, and get like, you know, good acting and cinematography and design and, you know, good choice in music, even like the soundtracks are really good for both of these.
Yeah, that's I did note a couple soundtrack things in Lord of War that were like either odd or like, oh, okay, there's a Mazzy Star song in here. Okay, sure.
Yeah, there's I think the first, I forget, I should have written that one down. One
of the first songs in Lord of War, I did write it. It's a Buffalo Springfield song.
Yeah, I heard this. I was just like, why is this here? This seems odd, but
a lot of needle drops
at the same time. Yeah,
there's a lot of needle drops in that movie.
But yeah, I do recommend these two. But
on kind of your point about like Lost in Translation being melancholy, I like it when I'm already melancholy. Like that's when it hits like the right moment for me. It's because like when I feel miserable, I can go be miserable with these two idiots at the same time. Like it's the misery love company of a movie, which I think is, which I am, by the way, that is me. People love me when they're sad. I am catnip for sad
like,
people.
Yes,
they're like, oh, this guy knows it. Oh, he's gonna hate the world with me, and it's gonna be great.
Anyways, before we get into more tangents, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me as always. I always enjoyed it. Hopefully I didn't say anything too horrible this time.
No, you didn't say anything too horrible, but you did show me up on your film knowledge as usual because you're way better than me.
I didn't think I did this time. I didn't go too far.
You didn't go too far. No. Just a couple of things had to be like, yep, just like you did. I'm just a better actor about it. Okay, I just let it roll off. Just let it go. It's fine. But we'll definitely have you on again because these conversations are very long, but they're very fun.
Yes.
And it also gives me a lot more things to put on my list of things to watch. And that list is getting crazy long. It is crazy long.
Dude, that should be like you should like if you want to take a break, that's what you should do. You should do those episodes to like make people watch the movies that they've recommended to you.
Maybe I should try that. Yeah, that might be a good thing. Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we'll be talking about Lucky Number 11 and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Hope you'll be here to listen.